Next Sunday, I'm going to be at the Sound in Del Mar, San Diego. Come out and see me. And then we moved St. Charles or St. Louis, Missouri. We moved it to August 7th. So come see me there. But next Sunday, come see your boy San Diego. Come out and see me. Doing 2 shows at the Sound in Del Mar. Del Mar, dude. AndrewSantino.com for those tickets. AndrewSantino.com.
In here, we pour whiskey.
You're that creature in the ginger beard.
Sturdy ginger.
Like vampires, the ginger gene is a curse.
Gingers are beautiful. You want $5 for the whiskey, $75 for the horse.
Gingers? Oh, hell no.
This whiskey is excellent.
Ginger. I like gingers.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Whiskey Ginger. My guest is one of my favorite people on earth. I say that from my guest, but I mean once again today, it's Tony Hale.
For today, I'm your favorite person.
Yeah, today. Cheers.
Cheers.
I'm drinking gin, which is very rare for me. I'm usually a whiskey guy.
Yeah.
But for you, your publicist called and said
I do like gin a lot.
he doesn't drink anything but gin and have a full bottle ready for him. He'll
Sounds
finish it.
like such a douchebag.
That's what they said.
I had gin and
He's a gin man.
and pink and black M&Ms.
Well, we have the pink and black M&Ms
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
And we will bring them in. Tony,
I can't do whiskey. For some reason, it doesn't work with the stomach.
Are you're British? What's your ancestry?
I think I'm a bit of a mutt. I think I don't. I did a 23andMe a long time ago, and it was just a plethora of different things.
You don't have one one thing that dominated? You seem like you might have been a little Mayflowery.
Yeah.
Hale? What's Hale?
Oh, Hale is a stage name because my grandfather was an opera singer. His original name was Johnston, and he didn't think that was work, so he changed it to Hale.
Okay, let me see. Johnston? That's off the boat. The Johnstons have come by.
Yeah.
Oh, hello,
That's
Johnstons.
true. That's true. Yeah, so I guess
So
I do.
you came from something good. Something classy.
Maybe. I always wanted to do one of those, where you trace, you go on the show and you
and they find out something terrible.
Awful.
They're like, you're family-owned slave. You're like, you know what, let's move on to the next.
And then I just live with codependent guilt and false guilt for the rest of my life.
True.
But I don't know. It's a couple of my friends have done it, and you just really wakes you up to some stuff. I think I
don't want to know. I don't want to. Well, actually, I know enough that my grandparents are
just Scottish all around.
Irish, and then my dad's side Italian. So I don't think I'd find much.
Is your whole family redheads?
No, I'm the only one. He knows my entire family. I'm the only one.
Do you guys know each other for a long time?
No, he's become kind of a fixture of our family. He was at my sister's wedding a week ago.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind
of. And you weren't there?
No, I didn't. Yeah, he subbed for me. Yeah, tag team. No, I think my grandmother had red hair, and my mom is one of 10 kids, and one of them has auburn hair. But that's why I was the most loved. The grandkids hated me.
Really?
Because my grandmother was like, I'm the golden child.
You always hear the red-headed stepchild.
I am, too. I have a stepdad.
But then it's the opposite. They're not loved, but you were loved.
Not by my stepdad, so that actually was on course.
Let's get into it.
No, he knows him. He is the best. No, you know what? I was loved. I was very.
Oh, that's good. You have a good foundation.
Yeah, some. But like any kid,
sure.
I'm an '80s baby. All of my friends' parents are divorced. You're late '70s.
Early 70s. God bless you. Early
Really?
70s. Yeah.
I thought we were closer in age.
55.
Oh, you look great.
Sorry, guys.
People at home. Tony stripped before the show. We do that if most guests have to get naked in the waiting room.
I did voluntarily.
You did, yeah. He was like,
I walked in and I said, "Guys, I want to take my clothes off." You're like, "That's so weird." I do that with all the guests.
That's what we do. Yeah. Well, thank you. Are your parents were together?
My parents have been together. Yeah, they've been together.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they're 87, both of them, still alive. And I don't really know how many years.
Still alive. This screams Mayflower material. See, these are good people. This isn't trash. Like everyone's dead that I know. I think everyone's dead and divorced. But that's what Irish die young.
Do they?
Well, I mean, they have terrible health and they drink a lot. Yeah. And I love these people very much. But everyone gets sick.
Was the wedding a big drinking wedding?
Yeah. Was the wedding a big drinking? My sister's? Yeah. Well, my mom and my dad both drink. My sister, and she married a kid whose mom and dad are from Ireland, moved here in the 80s or 90s. So.
And they drink a lot, I guess.
Oh, God, yeah. They're big time. Actually, you lived in New York.
I lived in New York, yeah.
Did you ever
know each other in New York?
No.
Okay.
But did you ever go on the Upper West Side? There's a bar called the Dublin House.
Kind of sad that I even had to ask that. That means that there are people that I have known that I just forgot.
Yeah, but that happens.
It happens a little too much. I went down because I grew up in. You were asking me something.
No, I was saying there's a place called the Dublin House on the Upper West Side. You know the Beacon? You know where the Beacon is?
Yeah.
It's 5 blocks away from there. It's got a big neon harp.
It's on 79th.
It's on 79th.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
That's my new brother-in-law's family's bar.
Oh, wow.
So can you imagine we like to... like I played a show at the Beacon, and they were all like, "You're going to come over to the bar, are you?" And I was like, "I think we'll bring some people."
They're
From Ireland. Oh, yeah. And they're like, "You come to the bar, will you?" Well, sometimes his dad
pretty
speaks,
good, man.
and I'm like, what did he say? But I play the game where I go, yeah.
What are you guys?
And
What
then
are you
I'll
guys
go,
gonna
"What,
do?"
what?" And I'll go, fuck. And then I'll have to admit, I'll go, I didn't hear what you said.
Yeah.
So you have to try.
I worked with, do you know who Saoirse Monica Jackson is?
I know Saoirse Ronan. I don't know the other one.
Saoirse Monica, I did I did a show called The Decameron, and she's from Derry.
Oh, wow.
And for a while, it was like I had to really pay attention, and then once I got it. And my God, she made me laugh.
They're
she is
so funny.
So just such quick one-liners.
Their sensibilities they have to laugh because it's quite sad if you go up there. Like you really don't have much choice but to like have a drink, have a laugh, and then like, did you see the Banshees of Inisherin?
No.
Oh,
Too sad.
it was. I mean, it's honestly, I loved it, but my God, the whole thing is so sad. And then you hear the actors talk about it, and they're like, "Yeah, it's a lot of that's based on reality."
Can you though, when you watch that kind of stuff? I am interested in this. Can you kind of compartmentalize it and just kind of go on with your day? It doesn't really affect you.
Yeah, I think because there's I don't know I like the beauty underneath all the sadness because I just see that first.
It's great. I just can't shake it. It's like I keep thinking about it.
It ruins your day.
Yeah, my wife's like, "You're an actor. What is wrong with you? You can't watch something and realize it." But it's like there's something about I go, yeah, that might not be happening, but something like that has happened to someone, and I feel like I'm watching it happen in front of me.
See that? You know? If it's well acted, like with those two guys,
yeah,
it's so good and so powerful. But I know there's something so like real underneath it.
Yeah.
But it takes me to that world where if it's like a reality show where people are being fucked up to each other, I'm like, this is way more gross. Like, because this is also manipulated by producers, and it's packaged and pushed, and I'm like, this is sad. That makes me more sad. When I see reality type of stuff get gross and weird and publicized, I'm like, we're actually puppeteering
I get
someone's
angry
life.
at that stuff.
You do?
I get angry because I'm like, hey, just FYI, this is your legacy.
This is
like
you.
Your children and their children are going to be watching this as a representation of you. Yeah. Why are you doing this?
I know.
You know why? Because I get it. Maybe I get it when someone goes on thinking maybe they think, oh, it might be this, and then they wake up and go, oh, it wasn't. So I'm going to walk away.
Yeah.
Someone's like, no, I'm going to sign up again.
Yeah, they do.
For like 6 more years.
Yeah.
That's what I just don't understand.
Well, I think what I've learned through just being like near it with people, you get to understand. They're so good, these producers, at convincing the talent that that's all show. And it's just part of the gig. And I think they've kind of like mind-fucked people into thinking that, yeah, you're going to get public hate and all that. But it's all fake because you know you're not that. You're an actor.
Yeah.
I think they tell them they're acting. And they just think like, I'm playing a part. But you're like, you're the part. It's you.
You're the part. And your issues are obviously for everybody to see, and there is something to be said about there is a part of that I appreciate honesty, walking through something, but when you can see it really affecting your life and your family, maybe that's a time to step away. You know,
maybe. Well,
I don't know.
I mean, you've gotten so much amazing work that you don't know how it feels to be on the other side of not getting good work. So how about that?
Oh my God!
How about that?
It is. You know, it's a hustle.
It's a constant.
It's a
hustle.
constant hustle.
But you.
I have one question before you keep going.
Yeah.
Have you ever done an Irish part?
Have I ever done an Irish?
Have you
part?
ever played an Irish character?
No, I haven't.
Oh, dude.
Would I love to?
Have you gone out for one?
No, I don't really go out.
In general?
Yeah, I live here.
It's great.
No,
I want my face everywhere too.
You know what happens is I've done a handful of stuff. I have a great time, and then other stuff comes down the pipeline, and I don't know. I'm like, I don't know.
I bet you'd be great.
I would love to.
Yeah.
So did you hear that, Hollywood? Tony Hill thinks.
Did you hear that, Hollywood?
You hear that, kids? We gotta get that kid. That whiskey.
Red hair.
We gotta get that kid in here. No, I always used to joke. I joked on this show, but like they never think of the redhead first. No screenwriter is like, and the handsome redhead walks into the room.
You just had to add handsome in there, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good self.
No, I'm saying they don't write that.
I usually
they go,
do emasculated. Let's get the emasculated Tony Hale.
No, I'm saying they always write the ugly redhead freak.
Oh,
I'm saying
I
they
see.
never say like,
Sure.
hey,
Sure.
it never
I'm not
gives
saying
you-
you're not handsome. You're
Yeah, well,
very
thank you.
handsome.
Thank you. No, but they never do that. So every role that's for a redhead, unless it was
yeah.
for me, is always like freak, weirdo.
Oh.
Yeah. And then they're giving him most of my roles. I would even come close on to what's the kid from I, Tonya? What's wrong with my brain?
Paul
Three
Walter
names.
Hauser?
Paul Walter Hauser, because he's like Auburnish, and he's sober.
What?
And I'm an alcoholic, so I just feel like these two. We're.
I love that right when you said that. I was like,
Yeah. Before we get too deep, because I have a lot of things to ask you to talk to you
please. This is very nice to be here, by the way. Thank you for
about. I'm
having
so
me.
happy to have you. I'm gonna kiss your ass a little bit in a second, but I'm gonna try to like slot it in so it doesn't feel disingenuous, because it's real. Because we talked before the show, I was like, I gotta be careful about people I actually really like.
Aw.
Telling them to, because we have a lot of people on the show that I hate. He knows. Most people. I would say a high majority of the people that come on the show, I can't wait for them.
You
to
can
go.
always see when a talk show host doesn't necessarily like.
Yeah. Well, that's why I love Letterman. He was so great at kind of like shoving it down their throat.
I also felt bad for those. That he didn't like.
I loved it. That was
Yeah.
my favorite. It's because Leno never did that. Leno was very like complimentary and kind of played the game. Letterman was very obvious about who he didn't
See,
like.
this is a real gift. I mean, you have a gift of you can handle that. Like I can't watch that stuff. Like for instance, did you have a hard time watching what's the Sacha Baron Cohen movie? Borat.
Oh, loved it.
Okay.
It's fantastic.
I was out of my skin.
Oh, it's fantastic.
I was lasted 5 minutes, and I was
But
like,
did you laugh?
He's acting. Run for the hills.
All he was doing was exposing who people really are.
And yeah, here's the thing. Yes,
Yeah.
but at the same time, they didn't know they were going to be on a movie screen. And I don't know. There's
like the
something about
racist
the
frat kids that sued him.
Yeah, I mean, granted, yes.
It's who you really are, I guess. It's almost
Absolutely.
like, you know.
But I don't know, the whole just anytime I know someone is doing a bit, it's that pranked kind of stuff. Anybody I know,
Yeah.
that
What's
they
What's wrong with
don't,
this
I'm like,
motherfucker?
wake up.
Well, here's
wake up.
the way I give it more, I'm easy on it is because there's cameras in front of their face. Now, when it's hidden cameras, then you're being super deceptive. But if there's a camera in your face, and there's a guy who's playing a character.
Was there a camera in their face on Borat?
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, because they were pretending they were filming a documentary.
Documentary.
Oh, okay.
The cameras are exposed. So if there's a camera,
That's how they got him signed with these.
the first thought you would
That's
think would
true.
be like, better watch what I say on the camera. But they got so comfortable with him and his racism that
That's
they
a
were
good
like,
point.
you know what? I don't like browns either. And it was like just being honest. Yeah, it was tough. But
Yeah.
I get you not liking that.
Yeah. Oof.
But that's why you're sticking to voiceover. Easy plug here. Toy Story 5.
Just stick to animation.
I mean, it's the best job in the world.
You know, I'm so.
That's so cool.
I gotta be honest though, it wasn't until I heard my voice in the trailer that I thought,
You thought a recast was coming?
100%.
Wait, why?
Well, just insecurity and I'm such a Pixar fan, and I think they have such layers to their work that I just like, this is crazy. This is not going to happen. Because they initially brought me in because they said, we're thinking about you for a character, and they said sport, and I was like, oh, I can get my head around that. And then they added Buster's voice or Gary's voice to it to see what it was like. And we had this whole kind of playtime about finding his voice. But then after it, you're like, yeah, I'm sure they're going to grab Jack Black, or something.
They do often grab Jack Black.
But it's like, just thinking and then when I heard my voice, which is maybe 2 months before it was released, I was like, oh, they kept me.
That's awesome. Yeah. Do you have imposter syndrome?
What do you think? Imposter syndrome, I would say with my voice, because I was always insecure about my voice. And because I had this voice teacher tell me, Tony, you don't have, anyways, by the way, I said this earlier, you don't have any resonance. You don't have any resonance.
You did say that before we started rolling.
Yeah, before we started, I said, he's got bigger resonance. You might want to increase my mic. And I had always just had this insecurity. And then through doing a lot of voiceover and just more work, I've gotten more confident. But I think that's always been a bit of a
That's gross.
anxiety.
That teacher was wrong.
He was, but it's amazing
Why?
words, man. Like words.
Why did they stick with us like that? Of all the praise and the great things,
Why?
You took something a teacher told you one time and you were like, you don't have any resonance.
Yeah, and he's in an acting school that I never ever mentioned. And I went there for 2 years.
Don't mention it
I
now.
mentioned this place called the Barrow Group, which I loved. And they like made play out of acting rather than like work, like nice work. You know, it's like, okay, settle down. But like this guy was just an ego head, and he just really messed with me.
Was it a case of those who can't? Or was he successful at any point?
I think it was not a case of those who can't. I think it was a case of got a lot of power out of very fragile artists.
Oh, God.
And feeling kind of
What was the
empowered
point
by
of
how
this?
much these artists worshipped him.
Yeah, it needed the...
And needed his approval.
Ew.
And did you like it? And he kind of sat
Fucking
on his
three
throne
bar.
and felt it.
God, I don't like that. We're not going to mention... Hey, my editor, Joe, put up the name of the school right here. And so
Seriously, well,
Don't do it. Don't do it. No, but the voice thing, I know what you're thinking. We did... Bobby Lee and I did a movie that's on Netflix now called Go. Oh, yeah. Thank you. It was cool. But the whole
It's a
time...
basketball film.
Yeah. Steph Curry company produced it about like a, young kid making his league.
Yeah.
But the whole time, Bobby, every recording session, which we couldn't do without each other because we're super insecure. So we're like, we need to be with each other.
And I love your friendship, by the way.
Well, we do need each other. I think we work well together, and we're both announcers. So I was like, we should be in the same room. They're like, you don't have to.
Bad idea.
You're like, it's a scheduling nightmare. I was like, I don't care. It's way more fun. It was way more fun.
Sure.
And they got but the whole time Bobby kept stopping. Like he'd go out for a cigarette break or something, and he'd be like, "Can you come outside?" We go outside, and he'd be like, "I think they're gonna can us." And I was like,
Do you know why, though?
Like, is it bad? He's like, I think it's bad. Because you'd just look in the booth and they'd be like,
That's the thing.
one more?
That's the thing. What people don't, well, maybe they do realize. You're in a room where there's a glass partition.
Oh.
You have your headphones. You do your bit. Everything then goes silent, and then you see people's mouths moving.
Oh my God, it's so anxiety
about you. And then they're always looking around, and they're looking at each other going, oh.
And then one guy in the back
And then they
goes,
push a button and go, hey, great job, Tony. And then they let go of it and go,
it's so
And it
anxiety
does.
inducing.
It creates
when
it.
there's 7 executives in a room and
Yeah.
then they chat and then one guy goes, guys, great stuff. And you're like, shit, it's not great. That means they just said, not great. Be nice. Tell them to do it again.
We're also performers. We're analyzing every behavior you're giving.
Yeah, you're staring at
I
them.
am just analyzing everything that's going on.
It
that
drives
way.
me nuts.
However, what I loved about Pixar is everybody was in the same room. There was no division.
Whoa.
So not the actors, we were all separate, but like the director and the script, everybody's in the same room, and it's super collaborative, and there's no division.
Wow.
Yeah.
But the rumor is, and you told me this before the show, Tom Hanks didn't even do it. It's all AI. So it's.
I
it's not even- no,
disagree.
I'm
I
kidding,
disagree.
I'm kidding. But I did find out his brother does a lot of
Also, a tier, like
other stuff. Yeah.
his brother does do. I think does have toys.
It's so funny.
More than I would.
I'm gonna drink. I'll chug this whole thing if you let me. Okay, hold on. Before we go, because I just want to plug some of the new stuff that you have because it is very cool. You also have. Oh my God, why can't I say her name? Aaliyah. No. Alia. Sorry. Shawkat.
Shawkat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I had a brain fart.
Aaliyah. And I think about Aaliyah. That's why.
Yeah.
Rest in peace. R.I.P. Your movie comes out.
With Ali. Oh, that's so funny.
Are you doing a movie?
No, I am. That's so funny because we
Is it
did
Summer Girls?
I don't get it, man.
Wrong Girls.
Wrong Girls.
We did this movie together called Being in the Ricardos. And when you said that, I had a moment where I was like, oh, Andrew, that's way past.
No. No, see,
But you're right.
You have a
You're
new
right.
one.
There's one coming up in August with her.
And a movie with Brett Goldstein.
Yeah, called Office Romance.
That's cool.
And he's a really cool guy.
Yeah, he's funny. Yeah, very.
You know, I saw you at this Netflix.
Sorry. Why?
Party.
Come on.
Serrano's house?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
2 weeks ago. I saw you and I saw Bobby.
Yeah.
And it was so hot out there. And I was like, it was so lovely. It was a really nice party that way through. And I had this moment of like, oh, I like her. I should say hi to them. And I was like, no, I'll just go.
We did the same thing. We literally said the same thing. He comes up to me, he's like, hey, did you say anything to David Letterman? And I was like, no, don't leave him alone. That's insane. What would you say? Hey, I love you. And he'll go, sure, yeah, awesome. And then pat you on your little head. And you'll come back here. I was like, leave everybody alone. Just get out of here. He also
did Bobby get a haircut?
Yeah, well,
Okay,
because they're changing his style.
Because at first, I had not seen him in a long time, and I saw him, and I was like, is that Bobby?
Yeah.
But I think...
Well, he lost a lot of weight, too. I think he lost 30
Oh, maybe that's
pounds.
it. Okay, yeah.
GLPs, baby. They're working his magic. I just talked to a friend the other day who lost a lot of weight without GLPs, and he's like, I'm really mad.
Yeah.
He goes, I feel like the people who got their school loans taken care of. He's like, I'm the guy that's like still I paid. He's like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Why did I pay? I could have waited.
Yeah, there's habits though that are being created in him that's good for a long term.
Yes. He's doing great. But
Yeah.
yes, we didn't say hi to anybody, but I did prank him afterwards. He left early. I told him, you got to be the first out. Don't wait. Just leave before anybody. And then he called me on the way home. Did I tell this story? On the other one. I called him on the way home and I said, he's like, what's going on? I was like, dude, you should not have left. He's like, why? I'm like, I'm inside of Sarandos' master suite. He has a theater up here, and it's me, Letterman, Seinfeld, Chappelle, and I'm naming everybody, like all the famous comics that he loves. And show us like old tapes, like old school, like stand-up tapes that he's got from his vault. He was like, fuck, are you serious? I go, dude, I gotta go. I'll call you back. And I hang up, and then I called Louis. I called Louis C.K. I called him and our friend Greg Fitzsimmons. And I called them, told them, and they were cracking up. And they were like, are you gonna tell him the truth? And I was like, I don't know, because he was gonna turn around and come back. I was like, maybe I should make him come all the way back.
So
I told the truth. I was like, don't come back. I'm just kidding.
Ted asked you, where's Bobby?
Oh, yeah, I lied. I was like, dude, Sarandos was like, where's Bobby? And he's like, did he? Yeah, I was like, I'm covering for you. I said you were downstairs by the bar getting food.
That's so great. I had to leave before that picture. They did a big picture.
Yes, and I am beautifully in the far corner. As far away, Cherry.
I said there was a lot of balloons. Were there balloons in there?
No, who said this? My mom was like, what with the balloon? There were, like McDonald's placed balls. Remember those? Like that's what,
yes.
And the photographer was like, throw them at me. And everybody threw them. And then half of the people's faces got blocked. Like half of the people's heads are like behind a ball.
Also, so many comics, they're thinking in response to that. Of like, you
Throw
want us
balls
to
at
do
me.
what?
I know. It made me sad. I was like, just a regular photo.
Yeah.
But that's the one they wanted.
In here, we pour whiskey.
This episode of Whiskey Ginger is brought to you by Squarespace. I've talked about Squarespace so much. What are they? They're all website platform designed to help you stand out and you succeed online. Whether you're just starting out or scaling your business, Squarespace gives you everything you need. Claim your domain, showcase your offerings with a professional website, grow your brand, get paid all in one spot. Back in the old good old days, back in my day, we used to have to build websites with all sorts of janky stuff that we threw together, and now they have beautiful designs, incredible cutting-edge design. Start with Blueprint AI. Squarespace's AI-enhanced design center. Or choose from a library of professionally done, award-winning website templates, so you don't have to think about it. They got it right there. The SEO tools are incredible. They optimize every single website to be indexed with meta descriptions. So what happens is you're going to show up way more often when people are searching for whatever it is you're making, little trinkets in your garage to something very big. No matter how big or small your business is, they got it all with email campaigns. They have a video section, analytics, and you can sell content there. Do it all with Squarespace. I don't know what you're waiting for. Do yourself a favor right now. Go to squarespace.com/whiskey. Check it out, okay? Check it out. Save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain using the code whiskey. Once again, squarespace.com/whiskey. Save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain using my code whiskey. Hey, the biggest stage in world soccer is here, and every goal changes everything. I myself watched USA versus Paraguay, and what a game it was, ladies and germs. Didn't know anything about how nasty we were, but pretty good. And now FanDuel is giving you a reason to root for every single goal. Introducing Every Goal Pays. You heard it, every goal pays. Bet on a match and get bonus bets for every goal scored in that match. That's right, more goals means more bonus bets, and all you got to do is turn on your token. Very, very simple. What am I going to be betting on? Well, let's just see where I am going to be putting my money, where my big fat mouth is. How about this? I would like to put a little bit of something today on Scotland and Morocco. USA versus Australia is also today. But Scotland, I take Scotland over Morocco. And USA over Australia. I do love you, Aussies, but USA all day. That's all I gotta say. So hey, look at that. From the opening whistle to the final kick, let there be goals on FanDuel. Visit FanDuel.com to get started now. 21 plus select states for Kansas. in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, 18 plus DCKYWY. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-MY-RESET. Call 1-888-79-7777. Visit ccpg.org/chat. Connecticut. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org. Maryland. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org. Call 800-327-5050. Massachusetts. Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY. Text HOPE-NY. New York. Call 1-877-770-7867. Louisiana.
금방이 좀.
Ginger. I like gingers.
I do need to tell you something.
Yeah.
We got your test results back. Will you read them off? No. I want to tell you that my favorite line
왜 이래 씨발
in
이거.
the history of Arrested. I know we're going back,
No,
but
please. I'm glad you're going back because I forget.
we both share it. Oddly enough, because we joke about it all the time. It's like this slow, incessant drumming, and Bateman giving that like great, heartfelt, heavy-handed speech, and then him cutting it by going, "Buster, you can't do that outside, buddy." But your response made me laugh so funny. You say, "Mom says it's too windy on the balcony." It's
true.
amazing. It was so funny to me. I rewound it like 10 times. Because you think the funniest beat is going to be that reveal.
Yeah.
But the funniest to me is you say it's too windy.
Also,
It's so funny.
Also, you can't drop away.
Yeah, no, but you can't. But you're right. Buster was right. You cannot drum in the wind. I can't hear my own drumming. His logic was actually perfect.
You know what went crazy, dude, that you said that? I'm not kidding. Maybe last week. So my wife and I, we just moved to Alabama.
Really?
Yeah, we just, a year ago, we moved to Alabama because we needed to be closer to her family, and then my family's in Georgia for various reasons. And we bought this house, and no lie, crazy this even came out. In our house, a bird got caught in the house, and I have a broom, and I'm trying to swat, but it looks exactly like the scene where it's like a bird landed on my pillow, because I come in with a broom, and I'm trying to get this bird out. I'm like, what the hell is happening? Like, this is right out of that scene.
And then you killed it, though, unfortunately.
Then I killed this.
We had a hummingbird stuck at Price's an old house he was staying at, and it was in like the kitchen.
Yeah.
And we were panicking because it couldn't get out. I was like, it's gonna die if we don't try to guide it out. And every time we tried to guide it out, it'd come right back in the kitchen. So finally, someone was like, I have it. I looked it up. We got water and then put sugar or something sweet inside of it, and then put the Tupperware up to it. So went down to go get it, and then they took the bowl, it's in there, and then threw it as hard as you could outside. And I was like, it worked, but I thought, that could have killed the bird. It could have killed something, for sure. Like, luckily it went right out the door, but I was like, dude, what if you missed? He's like, missing wasn't an option, I guess. That line, by the way, I just want to tell you that.
Oh, that's nice.
And I got to do the newer season or whatever. I did one little episode. Yeah, I did a scene with Bateman.
Oh, fun. Was it in a car? Was it in the car?
It was, the stairs. Yes.
Okay,
I used to car with stairs. Yeah. It was a great. I mean, for me, it was amazing because I was such a fan of the show. Not of Jason. I hate Jason. Jason's loathe Jason. But I was such a fan that I was like, this is incredible. Even remotely touching.
Same. I to this Mitch was Mitch Hurwitz was at the party. I saw him, and I was so happy to see him. I hadn't seen him in a while.
I didn't know. This is also a thing about the party that I talked to Bobby. People were there that we knew said they were going, didn't see them. Like I was like,
there's a lot of people.
There's a lot of people.
But so I was and continue to be such a fan of the show. But that was my first job, and I was an amazing cast, amazing writing, and I was like, what is? Because it was so layered at the time. Comedy was, you didn't have to think about comedy. It was like 1-2 punch, it was a very, and there were so many jokes that to this day, there's stuff I have not gotten. Like, if I'm completely honest, when you said that about the drums, I've forgotten about your name. Yes,
It's the best line.
but it's like, and this happened to me also. There's like that joke when the doctor comes out and says, he's lost his arm, but he'll be, and I was at a podcast and I said, well, one of my favorite jokes is when the doctor comes out and he says he'll be okay. And somebody in the audience goes, no. He said he'll be all right because he'll just have a right arm. And it was 15 years after that joke that I got the joke.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
I
great.
just like so many layers that to this day I'm just so grateful I was even part of it.
I mean, honestly, it was like a show that I always kind of gauge comedy fans when I talk to them about that show. I'm like, do you like Arrested? And people are like, it's okay. Yeah, I think I've seen it. I'm always like, I don't like it. You're not good. And you're not going to be a good comedian. I always felt like if you didn't understand the fun of that show, I was like, man, that's a...
My parents never got it. My parents to this day.
my parents for sure never got it.
Yeah.
No.
The only episode they liked was when Martin Short was on. And they're like, now he's funny.
Yeah.
He's funny.
I love when mom and dad do that.
Yeah,
well, my dad grew up, my dad likes Andy Griffith to my dad is like the pinnacle of television.
Sure.
Like he's like, he's like, no role that you or any of your friends have done are half as funny as Barney Fife. And I'm like, okay, well, I mean, God bless you. And he's right, whatever. Whatever, he's right. But it is hard. Some people that
I don't know if that's right, but I
whatever.
Yeah.
I'm going to let him have it. He's going to call and be like, I heard that episode with Tony. What was that? What were you throwing me under the bus for? But he does do that. But I think if you didn't get that show, like I showed it, my wife, like probably knows more about the show than I do, which is insane. And I told her, that I was coming here to do this today. And one of the first lines in the pilot, she always jokes around, look what the gays have done. You can't just tease that out. It's like, it leads with such a phenomenal way in that you're like, well, this is going to be
her timing, man.
Oh my
Jessica
God.
Walter's timing is so solid.
Yeah, it's impeccable.
It really is.
And then you went on to do a real junker called Veep, which I do think is one of the, I mean, what a tank show that was. That was not a good
nightmare.
Yeah, it was bad. What was her name? Julia?
I just call her Taylor.
She worked.
No, she is, I mean, it's always such a, because you work with really fun, amazing people, it's always a gift when they're also really nice.
Yeah, you're lucky, yeah.
Awesome. And Julia just came in, it was like, it's a team, this is a team sport, everybody's ideas is valuable, and I really miss that. I miss the friendships, you're living life together, and I miss that.
You don't think you'll do like a long series like that?
Oh man, I would love to.
You do?
Oh, you would, but I do a long series. I think that would be, because I would love for there's a period of time where the last episode where they kind of jump ahead, and I would love to find out a little bit of what happened. Sure. Because I wasn't there. And then she helps me something. I'm like, oh, because I just love those people so much.
Yeah. No, I'm saying there's no chance of them doing that again, you think?
I mean, I don't want to say no, because I haven't heard anything, but I just...
Gonna do this?
God, it'd be so... I auditioned for the show 75 times.
For Veep?
Yeah, I did a lot.
75 times?
No, I'm being hyperbolic. But I do think it was probably like 10 times.
Oh,
and
I'm sorry.
Julie was in one...
What was the character, do you mind saying?
Oh my God, it was a bunch of different stuff.
Yeah.
But one of them was... They gave me like... it was Allison Jones, and they were like... Julie was in there to improv with me, and it was they gave you the goal, but they didn't want to fill anything else in. Similar to like how Larry did Curb, it was like you have to let her know you're an intern, and you have to let her know that like something really bad is going on somewhere else, like something's happening. Yeah. And I had said that there was a mainline break upstairs, and there was human waste coming through her office. Yeah. And it was awesome.
She laughed?
She did, and I literally called my wife on the way home. I was like, I got it! There's no way I didn't get it! 2 days later, I didn't get it! I didn't get it!
That happened to me on that movie, Tooth Fairy.
Tooth Fairy.
Years ago, it was with...
The Rock?
With The Rock.
Oh, yeah!
And I auditioned for Stephen Merchant's part. And I was in the room, and they all were clapping, and I think the director even said something like, whatever, said something like, when I book you, or something that really led to that.
When we start shooting this.
Yeah. And I was immediately on the phone with my wife, and I was like, we just had our baby, I was like, we gotta take care of it. Like, we gotta do this. Obviously, and Stephen Merchant obviously is amazing, but I was like, come on. Like, that roller coaster is awesome.
Is there anything that you missed out on that like really hurt that you really wanted?
I mean,
because it's always you or Zac Efron. That's who it is. They either cast him or you for every role.
Yeah, man, please, especially with my shirt on. If I'm honest, they all so run together, because every time you go out for something, you really want it. You put yourself into it, and you can't help but think how great it would be. And then this is what's interesting about our business is our job, I'm sure you know, our job is to have our emotions on our sleeve because we have to have access to them. And we have to bring authenticity to it. So if I'm having to need to be vulnerable and I want it to be authentic, I got to go there, vulnerability. However, when it comes to rejection, they'll be like, hey, let it go.
Yeah, exactly.
Let it go. It doesn't work like that.
Right.
You can't just switch it. So
Yeah.
it's hard. Every time it's hard.
It is hard. I do think I don't try to take it with me, and being a stand-up helps because we just used to like rejection and denial. And
Now, by the way, also, I think you've exercised a muscle that is a real gift to this business.
it's also somewhat of a detriment because you become so hardened that even the wins sometimes you're not as happy about, which I do think is tough. A lot of stand-ups do this thing where even when you win big, like Louis told a great story about, he was like, it sucks that it's hard to know when you're in it as a stand-up because of so much heaviness. He was like, I was going to the Garden to watch, I want to say it was Billy Joel. I think it was a run of Billy Joel. But he goes, afterwards, only then did it hit me. And someone I think had said to him, like, do you know, like, of all the people inside of this room, the only other person that's been on that stage besides Billy Joel is you in this room? And he was like, it was so powerful, it like got to me. That it was like, how did I not feel that before?
Sure.
Like he's like, I played Madison Square Garden, and your brain checks out.
Yeah. It's kind of like some of the venues we've done Bad Friends shows on. There's like pictures of Orson Welles doing like Othello.
Yeah.
And Bobby's just like getting naked.
Yeah, and Bobby showing his butthole, and Othello was performing. Yeah. Well, we did like the rhyme, the historic rhyme video. They did put you in a dressing room. Yeah, they're like, this was Johnny's Fortune's room or whatever, and you're like, really?
이게
About to
지역이지 이게.
show his pubes in front of all these people on the same stage.
I will say though, it's hard
Ego
not.
though.
There is a protective layer.
Yeah.
It's all the wounded child in us that just doesn't want to be hurt, doesn't want someone to make. You're like, I'm gonna make fun of myself before you make fun of me.
I'll get me before you.
I'll get you. Yeah. So it's all that, but it's hard to get past that.
But as a kid, were you like were you outgoing or were you kind of?
I grew up in the South.
Yeah.
And for a kid that doesn't play sports, it's not a pretty picture. So my parents were like, what are we gonna do with this kid?
What's wrong with your boy Tony? He don't want to do nothing. He won't throw a ball or
You
nothing.
want dance? Go dance. Let me get you a drink. But they found this theater by the grace of God called Young Actors Theater, and they signed me up for it. It was a place that was like, I can be crazy and encouraged. Yeah. But it was, you're called every name in the book.
We know the name. We know the word. We'll title it the episode.
Because they don't, back then, that didn't change. Back then they don't know the right. It's like, you're not into sports, you're sensitive, you're creative. Oh,
I know what you are. We know what Tony is.
Yeah.
No, we like him just fine. We just don't want him overplaying that.
I'm not talking about it.
Yeah, I don't want to look him in the eye.
Yeah. But it's like, that's the category. So it wasn't an easy time.
Yeah.
Now if it's said, it's like...
No, it's not. No, now everything is so... Well, the internet in that right has helped people get... it's like globalized states where you're like, everything is everywhere and everyone knows everything now. There's more exposure. So people in a small town now feel more comfortable being like, hey, I want to try theater.
Yes.
Whereas there was a time you're like, I think I like theater stuff. And people are like, what the fuck? You're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's way easier. Yeah. And there's more like, bigger, okay. And I'm not generalizing, my dad's from the South. But now in the South, many metropolitan areas now are so progressive with their culture that you're receiving so much more than you ever did before. My dad's from North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
And different world growing up he was in the Appalachian. He was way up there. That's a different world.
It is.
But now they have so much more access. Like when we went to Raleigh, Maryland, those places, they're so culturally artistic and free, and your brain goes to North Carolina, but then you see it and you're like, oh no, this is
because we live in Birmingham now, and it's just like Raleigh. Culturally, it's just
it is
a widespread, and it's so the restaurants. Everything is so.
It's cool.
It really, really is cool. But it's like that's taken time.
Yeah, a long time.
Yeah.
Do you think this is it? Or you'll stay there, or do you think you're gonna?
Oh, I do. Yeah, I do think we'll stay there. Yeah, because you travel so much.
Yeah.
And our business, we travel so much. But for 30 between New York and LA,
야, 한 대 맞으니까 죽네.
there for over 30 years. And so I think both of us were on the same page. Once our daughter graduated high school, we were both on the same page. So it was like, yeah, we need to be a little closer to family. And so I'll travel for work.
She graduates high school. Did she go to college or she started the workforce?
No, she's at college.
Good.
She loves it. She's in a sorority and, she's just...
You were in a fraternity.
I was in a fraternity.
Same as my dad.
Sigma Chi.
술 먹어서
Sigma Chi
그런
guy.
거 잘 안
You know how
돼.
much I got rattled because my father, I didn't join a fraternity? He's like, what's your problem? I'm like,
Wait, where did you go to school?
I went to Harvard. Uncle West. I went to Arizona State. Sorry. Arizona State.
By the way, same. I went to Samford. Like Stanford. No, it's Sam, not Sam.
Let them think what they want.
Okay,
I
go
went to
ahead.
Columbia College, Chicago.
Yeah, not Columbia, New York, Columbia College. We all three went to the other one. Yeah.
Exactly. And you can see the disappointment.
I'm honest about it. Whenever somebody's like, where'd you go to college? My brother, I barely.
Yeah.
I went
Well,
to
there's t-shirts at Samford that say Samford. That's great. They own it. It's a great school.
Yeah, you have to. No, I just wanted to get to the West Coast. That's why I really badly, and I had to. As the story goes, my father went to Tennessee, so did my little sister. My dad was like, you gotta go.
Yeah.
His best friend's son and I became friends. They went to Tennessee together. We used to go see football games. He said one day, Andrew, I'm going out to Arizona. You should come with. And I was like, what's in Arizona? He's like, don't you want to go to California? I said, I can't afford California, man. He's like, it's right here. He's like, my cousin goes to ASU. And I was like, really? He goes, let's go see him. So I fly out with them. We have the greatest 2 days I've ever had in my life. I ended up doing mushrooms on the stoop of the dorm I would eventually be in. Very surreal.
Whoa.
With these people that like were hanging out, listening to music outside. Like, we gotta go to school here. Now it might have been the mushrooms, but
That's not where that is where you went. That's not where you went.
I did go to Arizona State. I ended up going.
So you went to all the way.
근데
to-
이거
Yeah,
잡았니?
and I know that's a surprise. Many
No,
of my
it's not a
friends did
surprise.
not.
What
Yeah.
did you? I thought you said
잡았어?
that you did it. What did you study?
Journalism and the
Same.
minor in English. Yeah. Oh, really?
Same.
Yeah.
Journalism, mass communications.
You know what, dude? We're the same guy.
And I'll tell you, this is what people, because people are like, oh, well, what happened? I'm like, I use it every day. Because if I'm, probably with your material, if I'm editing something, I'm constantly like, where's the joke? Cut the fat. And that's all you did in journalism. It's like, where's the point? Where's the story?
Get to the point. Get to
Yeah.
the point. I also think it helped me because I finally took classes that like theory and practice of media production, or like I took classes that I was like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
I found the interesting nooks of how to make a thing versus like, I want to make things. And someone's like, okay,
Yeah.
but I don't know how. But
Sure.
I just wanted to learn about that. So finally in school, I paid attention because I was
Yeah.
like, this is fun.
Yeah,
High
yeah,
school
yeah.
for me was real hard. I did not want to be there. I
Sure,
was
sure,
like,
sure.
this is awful.
Yeah.
I was like, can I just go goof off and do drugs?
Did you also with your, I mean, it's such a gift because with your jokes, which you're a very funny man.
Thank you.
It's that thing of like, we're circling around it. What's the joke?
Yeah, get inside. Just
yes.
go right to the.
When did you, I know I'm making this about you, but when did you officially start doing stand-up?
I was 22. I moved here, 06, 05, 06. The girl I was dating at the time threw a knife at me, and I said, I think I'm gonna move to LA. I literally, we actually came here to look at an apartment together, and we drove back to Arizona, and I had all of this anxiety. I was like,
Sure.
I shouldn't move you here. I was like, we're kids,
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
fail. So I was like, I don't want to ruin your life. And she was like, I want to go out there. I said, I don't think you do. Like,
Yeah.
I think she was being sweet. She loved me. She was like, I want to go with you. And one night, she had a couple of drinks. We got into an argument, and she threw a knife at me. I was like, I'm going to move tomorrow by myself.
There's so many things in the house to throw. That's
Yeah.
a very specific
A
thing.
knife. I was like, I think I got to go. I think I'm going to go to... So I moved here at 22, and I've been here ever since.
Man, do you find that, okay, if somebody said, Andrew, I want you to speak at this conference on, I don't know, vulnerability in comedy or something like that, does that make you nervous? Or does it not make you nervous? Because obviously if somebody says, I want you to do a set, you're so used to that. But if
Yeah.
somebody wants you to speak on a topic, would that make you nervous?
Yeah, much harder to do. Not nervous, but it'd be much more of a challenge of me, because I want to present it in a way where you want to hit all the beats of like, I want it to be funny, I want it to be honest, and also have humility in it. Like I want all these things to be conveyed.
Yeah.
Where stand up, you're like, I know what I'm shaping up there. Like I just did my sister's wedding, and that was fucking impossible. They were like, would you officiate it? And I was like, this is really hard.
Yeah.
Because people also think,
Is he gonna be joking around the whole time?
Totally.
I'm not. It's my
Yeah.
sister's wedding. Like,
And you're also not, as a person, you're not
no, I don't do that. So I thought, how do I do this? So I took a long time to like write it and work through it. And it was really a challenge.
Sure.
So that was more challenging by far than doing an hour of stand-up. Is like, let's go have fun.
And you're also kind of stepping into the Andrew stand-up character.
Yeah.
A skin that you know very, very well.
Yeah.
Another
Yeah.
skin takes a little more work to get.
I just have to put it on, and I do put on other people's skin.
Great. Yeah, who doesn't? Who doesn't, man? You got great skin. I want to wear it.
No, what?
Because I just when you said that about the wedding, I just did the commencement speech at my college, and I was so nervous.
I didn't know that, right?
It was so, because people have the same thinking of like, hey, you're at the time. I'm so comfortable playing set or characters. I have that confidence. Standing up, being myself. Also, it's like a wedding. It's such an important moment of their life.
Yeah.
You don't want to mess it up.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was actually really fun, but I was very apprehensive.
Did you watch other people's speeches?
Oh god.
No, that was
like,
yeah. Like I've seen a few ones that are memorable in my mind, and every time I see those, I think, well, that I couldn't even come closer. That it would be,
yeah. So I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah, it would give me the most anxiety, but also, I'm never gonna get asked.
And it was very cool to say stuff that I wish someone had told me. Like I was.
What did you deliver that
One
meant
of
most?
one of the things that meant the most was I said, if I can tell you, it's like the value that you have today as a person is the same value you're going to have before after any success that comes your way. Even though the world will tell you you have value if you get this job, if you get 2.5 kids, whatever, your value stays, and God will see you as completely well pleased with yourself. And that was, because it is true, the equation you get into the world, especially in this business, of like, oh, I think subconsciously I think. And it's like having that, and granted, I don't know if they're going to remember it, but there's real power to like somebody saying, hey, your value right now is going to stay the same.
You're right. I think it's more people than you think, because we get a lot of people that sometimes send us these great fan messages that are like, I don't think you guys understand. My life was in shambles, and just having to laugh helps me get through the bullshit. Because we think we're like, yeah, we're entertainers, we're clowns, we're having fun. I want to make you laugh. I want to make you disappear for a little while. But it becomes kind of, par of the course. So you just kind of go through the motions of having fun and doing the job until people really say, it's like, it did help more than you know. So I bet you had a lot of people that.
I hope so. It is weird though when you hear that, because like people say they've been arrested or something like that, and it's it's hard to frame it because I see it as like, what? Like,
yeah,
that's like I'm a narcissistic actor. What are you talking? Like, it's like I don't.
Yeah.
But it is a service.
Oh, big time. You're letting people escape. More escapism. I think we talked about this literally an hour ago. I was like, we need to be more stupid and have more escape because the world is pretty.
Oh wow!
It's just too. Without even diving in, it's just things are kind of sad on a scale where you go, man, I'm confused. Like everything feels pretty heavy now, and it probably always has. It's not just now.
No, yeah.
But you go through these waves of society feeling a type of way, and the more goofy we are, or the more we let loose on stuff and make people feel something else, I think the better we'll be.
And just for a pocket of time to be able to do that.
Yeah, it's little nuggets because it's nothing lasts. Like I watched the Hulk Hogan documentary, which by the way, have you seen it?
No, is that good?
It's brilliant. I never was a.
What's happening? Rush. 뭐야 이거? 효과가 없네. 얘들아 나도 좀 살려줘. 컴온.
wrestling fan, but I was interested in the idea of this guy. And something they hit on pretty often is, or the people speaking about him, or how at some point he did kind of get lost as Hulk Hogan and not Terry Bollea. Like he became
I didn't even know his real name.
Terry, is that right? Bollea or Bollea? Yeah. No, I mean, I didn't either, but like, you have people who've known him for a long time that go, there was a detrimental part of his career where he thought he was Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
And that can happen.
Sure.
And it does in our business a lot.
With Pee Wee Herman, it happened.
People say it about you, too. They go, that's, Tony thinks he's something else. He thinks he's...
Yeah, you hear these conversations, don't
all
you?
the time. No, but he got lost in it. I think it was very eye-opening. It's a very, what's the word? It's a warning shot almost to the business.
It did break, because I saw that Pee Wee Herman documentary also. Did you see that?
Awesome.
It's so good. And it was just the opposite. Like, he didn't want to be... He wanted to be separate from that, but there was such an attack. People just attached it to him. That was hard.
And he was so talented outside of that, which is so funny that that's all people wanted him to be.
Yeah.
But that's a hard thing to escape because sometimes typecasting is golden handcuffs. And so it's hard to... Like, you've been so dynamic, no one's tagged you with anything.
That's very nice to say. I did this movie over the summer that came out this past summer that took us 8 years to get made. And
8 years.
8 years.
For people at home that don't know, that's not that crazy. That happens all the time.
And I was so proud of it. And it's called Sketch. And I was playing just a dad. I was playing a dad whose daughter is going through this stuff. And it's just a beautiful movie. But it was nice to just be closer to who I am.
Yeah.
Just
a nice, good dad.
But to have that kind of, just normal conversation, because I love playing my characters, but Buster was always on the defense. Like, everything. He even had his hands up, like, always on defense. Yeah. And Gary was like, just this, and it's so fun. But just to play a character that was closer to me, even though when this came out, I have to tell you, we went with this certain company. We're thankful it was released. The whole faith community thought this movie was demonic.
Why?
Just it was ridiculous. It was, well, this is a whole soapbox, but it's like it was released on a platform. There was typically a faith-based audience. There was a large faith-based audience because they wanted to put us in screens. And I was very thankful for that. And a large part of their audience thought it was demonic, and because it was talking about grief, and there was. We described like Inside Out meets Jurassic Park, and it was just because it went past their idea of art and how just maybe what they were used to is seeing this platform do stuff, and it was just absolutely mind-boggling.
People were misinterpreting the message.
I think they maybe liked a pretty little package of life with a little bow on it. They don't like messy stuff.
Sure.
It's
like if you put the Matrix on Lifetime, they'd be like, I don't know, man.
Or even the Bible.
Yeah, they're like,
what actually happened in the Bible?
They're like, we don't.
They don't want that mess.
We don't want that.
They like a pretty picture, and it's just also grief is messy.
Very.
And this was kind of, there was also these there was monsters in it because her pictures came to life, and it was just outside of how they saw, or maybe what faith. Anyways, and it wasn't even a faith-based movie. But since it was on this platform, all that to say, it was a little bit of a roller coaster.
But I mean, I think.
But it's a great film. It's a beautiful film.
Well, please watch it. Go watch it right now. You want to plug it? What is the
Sketch?
Yeah,
it's called
Sketch.
Sketch.
Yeah, and where's it on right now though?
You can get it on like Amazon.
Amazon
now,
Prime. Yeah. But I think that Conan and I just spoke about that. That we want artists are always like, I want people to like it. But the real thing you want is people to be challenged a little bit. And so what that actually achieved the goal at a better level, where a lot of people probably did like it. But those that didn't like it, it's probably because it challenged them. But isn't that more beneficial than just like, it was okay?
Yeah, the art stuck with them. It didn't just
the art did something to them.
It is. It's, as a person, because I'm a person of faith, and I think that hits a little harder because I'm like, come on. Like, it's almost like you take a picture of a tree and you take a picture of a cross and you go, what do you consider as our faith? They immediately go to a cross, and it's like, that's a tree. Mm-hmm. That is a beautiful creation of God, and you're just limiting. You're putting God in a box. He is so much bigger than how you think.
Yeah,
and it's a little crazy making for me.
I get it. Yeah, I know. Well, and also, we always, when we have stuff like that where we try to do something subversive or whatever that people kind of have this intense reaction to, I'm always like, well, the people that get it will get it, and the people that don't will don't, and that's kind of.
And it's challenging. You're right. I mean, it should challenge.
Yeah.
It absolutely should challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't all make super highbrow stuff like Medea films. We can't all do Tyler Perry
One
films.
day. One day.
We will.
They are funny, though.
They're so funny.
He is very funny.
Honestly,
that
it's
character.
brilliant. It's genuinely the most streamlined. What's the funniest version that everyone is going to laugh at this thing? And it's like, oh well, that's funny. I'm going to laugh at that. It's ridiculous, but I'm going to laugh at
It's
it.
a good character, yeah.
In here, we pour whiskey.
How are my Shady Rays basically the same quality as the $200 sound glasses I used to buy? It's incredible. I'm not exaggerating. They feel every bit as premium as the expensive brands that I've owned in the past. I wear Shady Rays to the lake, to the golf course, to the game, wherever it is, in a field. Sometimes I'm just out in a field wearing my Shady Rays. Guess what, though? You lose them, you break them, they send you a new pair with their lost and broken protection. They're actually premium. These polarized lenses are fantastic. They cut down the glare. And if you're outside, out on the water, on a boat, in the sun, having yourself a couple sody pops, and you drop this in the lake, guess what? They got you covered with the lost or broken protection. You got to go to ShadyRays.com and grab yourself a pair today. These are comfortable, they're durable, they're incredible. I look sleek and cool. I could get ready for a paintball game, or I could just be cruising the beach looking for babes, dude. Go to ShadyRays.com, grab yourself a pair. We've teamed up with Shady Rays to bring you an exclusive offer. Head to ShadyRays.com and use the code GINGER for 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized shades. Ginger is that code. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Go to ShadyRays.com, grab yourself some Shady Rays.
Ginger. I like gingers.
When you, because I'm interested, if you want to talk about it.
Please.
You grew up because growing up in the church, yeah?
Mm.
I grew up Irish Catholic, and then we got kicked out because my parents got divorced, which, is...
Where is that in the Bible? Where is
It's
that?
not.
Where
It's
is,
not.
It's so funny because Christ came and let's go to the Beatitudes.
It's not that. It's for some reason that it's just the judgment is so heavy. It's very odd. They do this thing where they're like...
But it is, I mean, not to get... Well,
Go for it.
I won't say a certain political person, but not say, but it's not even highlighting silly, but... in scriptures, it says the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. That's the fruit of when you follow God. Now, maybe I'm working on 2 or 3 on a good day.
Right.
But when I can't find one in a person that you're associating with my faith community,
It's pretty crazy.
that's not how it works.
Right. Right.
And it's infuriating to me.
It is.
Christ was the one who went to the woman at the well and was like, I saw her, whereas everybody else cast her out. And for them to do that to your family, that is not Christ.
It just makes you... It's very odd that...
Oh, it just gets me.
Well, because a lot of times, and I'm not pointing fingers at them, but
Yeah.
a lot of times certain sects will decide from a cultural standpoint what they're okay with, less so than what's probably scripture. I think it's more about culture. And now culture is different, right?
That's
this
a
was
good point,
also a
'cause
long time ago.
That's a good point, because I think people are typically maybe more afraid of the church than they are of God.
Yeah.
They're more afraid of the community and kind of the groupthink than they
100%.
are of God.
Because that also at the time, particularly like my grandmother's time, it was imperative to your sense of communal worth, was like being a good Catholic or whatever you'd want to call it, or being a good member of the community. It wasn't even about their belief. It was about the community of the church and how people felt about you, which also, my dad grew up with in the South, even it's more prevalent because there, Southern church is more, he grew up in a small town. They know everything about everybody.
Yeah.
They can't wait to go. Church is where they go to gossip. Church was like TMZ for them. You know what I mean? Where they want to, they just want to tell,
prayer requests.
Yeah.
Were a
You know
little
who's
bit
doing,
like-
you know who's doing terrible.
You know who we need to pray for.
Exactly. It's a way to like spread.
Yeah, sure.
Bless their hearts.
Bless
Yeah,
her
bless
heart.
her heart,
She, because my grandmother, in her basement had a salon, and this was like church 2.0.
That's right out of Steel Magnolias.
100%, dude. This is 2.0 church. It was like church existed, and then so did the salon.
Sure.
And these two things were
Girl,
linked.
you get in here.
Yeah. Sit down. Let me get you some honey.
Listen what I heard.
You need to hear what I heard. Gina.
Pull that hairdryer up. I got something to tell you.
What did she say? What did she say? I can't imagine the amount. But so that affected my viewpoint of it, because it was, and then still had it in another way through a different sect of Christianity. But it is funny because as a kid, I was like, "What are we bad or something? What is that? But it does something to you as a kid. You kind of change your belief system, and then you question, which is good. But when your life in the church as a kid, was it like, was it you and your and everyone you knew, or was you were kind of like, was it your friend group there too, or no?
It was. I think to your point, I think it was more the Southern community.
Yeah.
We were in church. It was kind of a social club.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't say I probably formed a relationship with God until post college.
Yeah.
When kind of stuff hit the fan, and
Yeah.
I woke up to the fact, I need to lean on something bigger than me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And when people say, I think it's, they're not in conversation, like if they see religion or faith as a crutch, I'm always like, give me 2 crutches, man. Life is life is not
Guardian.
easy.
Do you have a religious wheelchair over there? Because I'd like to roll through life
please
with that.
sign me up.
Well, and then the other thing is I saw it through a bunch of different versions because of my parents' version, and then my biological father, who was in the program where they find faith very heavily, and that's a big part of his life.
Yeah.
So I got 2 different viewpoints of it, which is why I kind of feel the way I feel like I'm a meshing of the two. Like I got the traditional stuff, and then I got a kind of non-traditional viewpoint.
Yeah.
Which ironically, some people who are very faith-based judge the other side of it. But you're like, it's so funny because they're finding it a different way.
Tends to be the language is judgment. And then, to your point, like when people find out my faith is very important to me, I always have to take into consideration they're looking through so many different filters.
Totally.
The religious abuse, all this kind of stuff. You have no idea someone's story.
No.
And so it's always about just trying to I try to always be curious. You're like, please let me know your story.
Yeah, let me fill it in. Yeah, that's good. Man, I got a bigger crush on you now than before.
Yeah.
I had one before.
Yeah.
Man, you know what?
I got a ginger crush.
This was his whole goal. When he walked in, he's like,
That's
watch
right.
me make this guy love me. He's going to get in the car, call his wife. No, what he was swooning. He was swooning.
All I say is mission accomplished.
You hang up, she opens a book and crosses my name off of people that...
She's like, got him.
Got him! That's who we needed last.
Yeah,
It is cool to say that you moved down there, though. I'm so interested in moving away.
By the way, I wore this
Talking
hat for
about
you because it's orange.
it. I do like that.
And it's Pixar.
Let me see. Oh, it is Pixar.
Yeah.
Well, you're Pixar's golden child now. How many Pixar films have you done?
Just 2.
Well,
I'm thankful for
2 massive franchises.
Two, yeah. Do you know what's so cool about this being in Toy Story is this character Forky I'm so crazy about, and it's so nice to be able to go back and do him again.
Yeah.
Because Forky just has this, speaking of curiosity, he's just this, has a lot of questions. And
Yeah.
And in the last movie, there was this character named Gabby Gabby, who was kind of this antique evil doll that nobody liked. But Forky didn't put people in boxes, and he was like, I think she's got good hair. And would just want to go brush her hair. And it was because of that, then Gabby had her own kind of redemptive story. And you rarely see a villain kind of be restored or come to redemption.
Yeah.
And in that movie, she did, because somebody kind of crossed over and just wanted to get to know her.
Pixar does that better than
Oh,
anybody.
it's just the levels are beautiful.
I don't know how they're able to do that. So and they do it so fast. They're able to build these so it's like deep story. They do the thing that Simpsons did for me as a kid, which was like it's for adults
Why so
and
laggy?
for children simultaneously. That Pixar has found a way to do so seamlessly. I don't think anybody gets
Just
close.
cry.
Oh, ball. Yeah,
Just
crying.
cry.
Yeah, when's the last time you cried in the theater?
Oh, I thought to say in general. I was like,
Yeah.
oh,
When was the last time you
morning.
cried? This morning? Yeah.
I do like to cry, though.
You do.
I do like to cry.
Favorite place to cry?
I do in the morning. I journal, and so I'll cry.
Cry while
I do
you
like
write.
a devotional kind of journal, cry, or just kind of sit. I'll sit there, and then what actually happens a lot. Oh, this happens a lot. So I've been doing it for about 3 or 4 years, where I try to journal every day, and then on the day I look back at each year of what was going on. And so to see how I believe God kind of teaches me through stories, it's just so cool.
That
I'm
is
always
very
blown away by it. Yeah.
Do you ever go back and add to something or retake something
Just
from before? No, I mean take
yeah.
it and then
Just say this didn't happen, but this thing.
yeah. By the way, this wasn't right. No, but you take something from before and then you add. You go if you're thumbing back and you see something that affected you a type of way. Do you use that to put into something new that you're going through now?
Yeah. And it's also it's that, and it's also if I'm going through something, there's something that was written that's so in line and encouraging of this.
Yeah.
That's read through a book. There's an amazing author. He was a Catholic priest called Henry Nouwen, and he worked with a disabled community. His writing is so beautiful, and so I write a lot of his stuff down. And like I'll be going through something and just be like, holy shit, like it's just perfect, you know.
We'll never see any of these writings of yours, though, will we?
No, I've actually told my wife that if I died, to burn them all. I'm a little too honest.
Wait, why? Why? That's good, though. Don't you think that would be amazing to put together in some way?
It's honest, and it's also just like, you know,
I didn't like my wife's shoes today.
you know, it just kind of, I don't know. It's that kind of. Honestly, it's that stuff of, do I want my daughter? Just I don't know.
Yes.
Because it's really, you want to be as specific as possible.
Yeah.
And somebody told me to do digital journaling, and I just like writing.
Don't do digital. That's like the worst thing in the world. Because then it's there for someone else to take.
Yeah.
I feel like digital,
because they have those journal like locked ones where it's all like you can lock it. But then I guess that's
something you get to. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on AI?
Cheers. Well, it's over. They got us. He's actually not real.
Because so much information you're putting in these AIs, and it's like, where's that going?
I know. My wife and I spoke about that last when we were watching the Hulk Hogan documentary. I talked about how, there's a point of like people selling their likeness, to the machine. And I said, I think it's only appropriate. Like, didn't Bruce Willis did it? Didn't he do it? Did he sell his likeness? Is that true? But there was a deal that was trying to be made to like buy his likeness. Yeah, isn't it amazing?
I think that's really sweet.
The videographer was not selling like.
Do people say you look like Benson Boone?
He does look like Benson Boone. Yeah. Well, we call him. Come on.
You call me Lord Farquaad.
He's Farquaad, my little Farquaad boy. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's
when he's got his hair.
Oh, I see. You're too tall for that.
Thank you.
We made him go up to a group of girls at a bar when we were out drinking, and I go tell them, go up to them and go, have you guys seen Shrek? And they'll inevitably say yes, and they go, it's me. And it worked.
And they liked it. Yeah.
It crushed. It worked very well.
Since I asked her, she said she was a lesbian.
And then he did this. It literally, he went like, I watched him do this. And I was like,
nice.
What was the fist? He's like, I asked for her number. She said, thank you, but I'm gay. And he goes, I instinctively just put my fist up as an ally.
Respect him down.
As an ally. He didn't know what to do. But it was, honestly, this is the funniest thing you could have done.
It worked. It was a good outro.
And then it was an easy escape.
It was a good escape.
You were allowed to then bow out and go, thank you for your time. Goodbye. He didn't sell it. He didn't sell his likeness?
No.
So I thought he was going to.
Why would
There's
you
rumors circulating. But
to do future work?
Yeah, because he's unfortunately sick. And but I did say, I said, look, if I was sick and on my way out, leaving my family money, like I get that, being like, sell me because I'm going to pass soon. But I was like, I hope no one else alive wants to do that. No, we don't have any kids. No, he's my son, I guess, right?
Yeah.
My 20.
Because I think I don't know if people want to do that to kind of leave something.
I know.
Yeah.
But then who's in control of your likeness when it's over?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the scariest part.
I know a lot of people during COVID, I don't know them, I heard they kind of sold their voices.
Yeah, that was a popular thing to do. Yeah.
And for a lot of money, but then they have that voice and that's scary.
Forever, and then you end up doing like the train or something. Welcome to it's your voice on whatever city you arrive at.
Yeah.
I think we can do
you
it.
use AI? Don't lie. It's on your phone.
No, I do, yeah.
Which one?
Claude.
You use
because I listened to a podcast with Oprah.
Yeah.
Part of it.
Yeah.
And
popular Oprah is.
And they give, I'm not going to get this right, but it's something like 80% of their gross is kind of given away to help stuff. I don't know. This is such a. They have a word for it. It's not just.
He can look it up. What does Claude do? Claude gives. You saying they're not. Their majority of their profits are going to other beneficial things.
It says. The 8% figure you're referring to comes from the high computing and infrastructure costs associated with AI workload. For heavy reasoning intensive tasks, computational costs consume 80% of gross revenue, leaving low or even negative margins. It's heavily subsidized by venture capital.
No,
that's not what he was looking for.
No, type in Oprah podcast 80% Claude AI.
Can you stick around and do some of this for us, if you don't mind? Could we switch? He's going to do your job from now on.
Okay.
That's literally how you would do it.
Because I'm wondering if it was something like...
It says the pledge made by the co-founders of Anthropic, the creators of Claude, to donate 80% of their personal wealth generated from the company to philanthropic causes.
Good.
That's right.
Good.
So it's which I thought 80% of their personal wealth, which is a shiny
That's a lot of money.
And I like that, and they're also very they're environmental because of all the water, and they're trying to...
Well, because the water is the biggest, right? Water
Yeah,
or wind,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
They're trying to find a way to cool those servers off with wind because water's expensive.
Yeah.
And we're just using up fresh water.
They're trying to figure out a way to circumvent that, but that is a long process. I mean, look, it's here whether you like it or not. I don't like it, but it's here.
I don't like it.
But it's not on my phone.
It's
not on my phone.
on your phone.
No, he knows I don't use it. I've never used it.
You've never used it.
Well, unfortunately, you used it if you've Googled, because Google now has AI internally built search engine, so you don't have a choice.
Yeah.
But I don't speak to a AI app or whatever.
I'm considering, because I tried it with apps and stuff. You know, like staying present and stuff is tough for me.
So hard.
So, I'm like, excuse me.
Get it out.
It's the gen, man.
It's all right.
But it's trying to get rid of as many, even my browsers. So like Safari and stuff on my phone. So my wife has a code that I can't download anything.
Really?
But I have AI, because if I need a question, or if I just have a question about something like, where's the restaurant, and I just use that.
That's really smart.
Why?
Your wife has you locked out.
She has me locked out. Like, she has a code that I can't, the App Store is taken off.
Oh, that's good.
And the browser's taken off. And I can't download or upload. I'm sorry, I can't download or erase.
The easy transition here for me is this is a massive through line of Toy Story 5.
Please.
Is tech.
Oh, it's tech.
It's crazy.
Like, great transition.
No, it is. I mean, it's the thing I thought about the most when I saw it.
knows what he's doing.
We know what we're doing. No, but it is true. It's one of the biggest. When I saw the trailer, I was like, it's interesting. I always thought, like, when are we going to? How heavily interjected is that going to be into children's entertainment? And that's interesting that they're.
But that's what I do love about Pixar. I don't think that they would have done another one if they didn't have a story.
That's a good story.
And it's a good story.
It's so real.
I have not seen it yet, so I'm curious.
It's really good. You should see it. You're good. Yeah, you're very good.
I knew you'd see it.
We do have some notes. Can you bring up the notes if you don't mind?
That's my favorite comeback of anything. Like, if somebody did something and just want to throw out a joke, I said, I've got some notes, but it's like my favorite comeback.
Good. I have a couple.
You did so good. But just the technology knowledge is how to toys means tech.
Yeah, it's so funny. I sound like I know what I'm talking about, but it's funny it took them this long to talk about it because it's so prevalent that we grew up with toys. Toys now are tech. Tech is a part of toys. Inevitably, it's become like Teddy Ruxpin was like a revolutionary thing that it spoke to kids.
Yes.
And then after that, it was like, well, the toys were so removed from tech, and now they're blending again to be one. So that's an interesting idea that, like, the iPad, which is a massive piece of toy technology to every friend I have with a kid, that it becomes like iPad in your face.
Oh.
Like, I see a 2-year-old knows how to open phones.
I know, it's wild.
Crazy
that babies in the past 10 years were born into touchscreen.
Yeah, it's wild.
I remember hearing about that and being like, that's Martian territory.
Yeah, we're in
To be able
space.
to touch something and move it. That's nuts.
So
that's
weird.
what that is Minority Report. Remember when he was at the screen, he was like, zoom,
swiping it away.
And I was like, what is happening? And then do you remember in the first Harry Potter when the people were talking on screens and stuff like that? And I was like, that is crazy. And then you go to Times Square and it's like everybody's
Everywhere.
It's
Constantly. Yeah, it did feel like that was miles and miles away.
Yeah.
No, you're inside of it.
Because your whiskey collection, do people bring you to whiskeys?
We do have some over there. Guy Fieri brought me his Blanco tequila. Guy Fieri, I should say. I always say it wrong. That's from the Porosis is vodka. So there's a bunch of others baked in. That's from Top Secret and Bert Kreischer. And then Father Time is in there from Jim Gaffigan.
Jim Gaffigan, yeah.
Have you ever had his?
No, I don't like whiskey.
Wait, why don't you like bourbon? We flew right by it.
Well, it doesn't sit well with me. There's something about it.
Probably.
Yeah.
What about beers?
No, God, no.
Definitely not.
I would say beers, wines. Some wines are okay. Whiskeys, bourbons, Gin, I don't even like vodka. Gin is the only one I can handle.
Well, gin I respect. That's
Thank
that's
you.
the only reason why we're having it.
I love an ice cold gin martini.
Oh yeah.
With a wash of vermouth and an olive and like a twist.
Ooh, he likes a twist.
Yeah, because I like the salty sweet.
Now, when you say the wash, you like it. They just wash the glass, but don't leave any in.
Don't leave it.
Get it out of there.
Get it out of there.
I do. I saw some award-winning Japanese bartender speak about this. That he kept the glasses like ungodly cold, like frozen to a level that only Japanese know how to do. And I'm sure they're all the exact same temperature.
Yeah.
And they literally like dip it like as if you were dipping ice cream in chocolate. He like dips it in there and lets it sit for a certain amount of time. Then he removes it in a way, and it's so cold that he like swipes it out and it like crests the side.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
It's so
Only
good.
the Japanese. Have you been to Japan, by the way?
No.
Oh, you want to
not
have the best whatever you like?
Really?
Whatever. I always say like whatever you like.
Yeah.
They do the best version of that. Whether you're like, I want a gin martini, or I like a certain kind of seafood, or they do it in a way, and it's usually like just one little old man who's been doing it for 58 years.
Yes.
And it's by himself.
Just mastered it.
And you leave, and you're like, how much do I owe? And they're like $40.
Yeah.
For like the greatest experience you've ever had. And meanwhile here, you're like, go get a coffee for $19.95.
I had to have a talk with my daughter because she's at college, and this coffee generation.
You seeing the credit card numbers pile up?
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's bad.
And it's the social hangout. It's like, let's grab a coffee. And I'm like, well, you do have a card at your college where you can swipe for food anytime you want.
Right.
But it's going to all the cool coffee shops.
No.
I know.
What are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
I mean, we didn't have that. Like, I didn't know one friend. That's not true. I knew a couple of kids, but pretty rarely do I knew someone that had, like, a credit card of their parents or whatever now. And this is totally normal now.
I didn't have any friends who drank coffee.
No, but not in college. Nobody drank coffee.
No.
You drank a beer in the morning, maybe. Yeah.
That was like for like 80-year-olds at some diner.
right.
You know?
Right. What are you, an old guy? What are you doing? But now the coffee's
it's not coffee.
It's cultural, but it's also sugary, sweety.
Yes.
Blah, blah, blah. I'm still old school. I'm a loser. I have a pot of coffee every morning at the house, and it's drip. I'm old school drip guy. I'm not a.
What does that mean, drip?
Just a drip coffee, just an old school drip coffee, like a traditional Mr. Coffee.
Oh, okay. Because now when you get a coffee shop, it's super like drip is like kind of.
Oh yeah. No, this is like old school. I buy it from the coffee shop next door to here.
Yeah.
I bring it home. I scoop it. I make a. I don't make a full pot now because my wife is like, you're consuming a scary amount of coffee. I would. I'd have like 3 or 4 cups in the morning, and then I have probably another one during the day.
Don't you love that? Like when you get it that warm, and then that first sip, you just kind of.
My dog comes downstairs. My wife will still be upstairs. I'll be looking out.
Is your wife in the business?
No, she's a human. She's a regular human. No. Is your wife in the business?
She was a makeup artist.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But that's not the same as she wasn't.
She was.
Right. El Madrigal, the great comic El Madrigal, says 1 headshot per household. That was his rule. 1 headshot per household. And it like singed into my brain. Kind of like the professor saying that nonsense.
Yes.
1 headshot per household. I was argumentative. I was like, people, that's not true. It happens the other way all the time. And he's like, how many are still together? I was like, everyone's working on everything, Al.
Was there something that singed in your mind outside of that that's just really laid a foundation?
Like a quote in the past,
or just something that somebody said to you that has been always hard to shake.
Well, that's really why you have one in your mind. So
mine's that voice.
Yeah, that voice still got it. I think. What stage am I?
Okay, if you don't have
really good question. No, I have to think about like what pops into my head. You know, for me, unfortunately, it's like it's snippets or things that I think are facts that are told to me that I probably have regurgitated that are not true or lies. You know when you like hear a story or like I talked to my whole life. We'd listen to Irish music with my grandparents.
That's precious.
Well, but then there were certain songs where I was like, yeah, my grandmother loved that song. And I said this to my brother-in-law's parents because I Googled the facts of the song. Danny Boy, you know. Danny Boy.
Yeah.
I thought that was like an old school, like beautiful Irish. It's written by a British guy did it. It was like a British pop song almost. And you're like, oh, that's really disheartening. So like, I think you hear things about what's traditionally something, or that's more what I do. I'll regurgitate a thing I heard.
The melody was Irish.
Yeah, but the lyrics we know are from an English language. yuck. We can't deal with that. That's not going to be. And sorry, no offense to you, Mayflower. But I don't want to offend you. I'm trying to think of something.
It's interesting you said about the stories, because I recently went back to Tallahassee where I grew up, and I gathered some high school friends together, and just like to hang out. And a large part of it was I wanted just to tell stories.
Yeah.
Tell stories because I don't remember much. And then there was a couple of them that I was like, is this how you remember it? Because when you tell something for decades, like, have I completely twisted the story? Thankfully I haven't.
Have you seen the movie Big Fish?
Oh, a long time ago.
I think it's one of the best movies of all time. Billy Crudup. Hey, here's why I think it's so brilliant. It's exactly what you're talking about. And I watch it, like, I'll rewatch it like every year or so. Because I'm fascinated with the idea of, like, we all do this. Where, for people that don't know, it's a great movie. Billy Crudup's father is dying, and he takes his now wife and new child to go see their dying grandfather, and he has a very disjointed relationship with this man. And as the story goes, it's his father's retelling of these life stories are always Big Fish stories. Like, it was. But Billy internally is fighting this thing to not call his father out all the time. He'd be like, you're a liar. Yeah. That's not what happened.
Yeah.
But the truth of the film is, sometimes isn't the story better that it's a Big Fish story. I mean, that's the beauty of that movie, and it's done so well that you're like, yeah, what is better? Because it's not a harmful lie. It's like it's a beautiful. He's telling it in a way of fantasy, so it enhances the.
And it's theatrical.
It's beautiful.
I'm sure you do this with your wife. Like, there are stories that when somebody says something, my wife and I have stories that we just love to share together.
Oh yeah.
And it's the experience of. I mean, one we told recently of. I had to, in the show I had to do, and it's a much longer story. I had to do the sex scene, and I was terrified to do a sex scene because I've just never had to do one.
Was this your first time doing it?
Oh, wow. And I was so scared. And
Unarrested.
I was on Arrested Development. I mean, come on. That right there. But, and I went up to my wife and I was like, sweetheart, I'm really nervous. And she's like, I don't care what you have to do. I need a new couch.
I don't want drapes.
Exactly. She was like, you tell them to get that camera.
Right in there. Get right in there. Now,
she does it much better.
Were you really?
I was nervous, yes.
Yeah, like I haven't.
얘 왜 이러니 진짜.
I did a show called I'm Dying Up Here, where I had to do. The hardest thing for me was not even my scene. I was walking in.
Was the Jim?
Jim.
Yeah.
I walked in on a sex scene, and that was harder for me to do because I have to. Jake Lacey, my boy, my love.
Oh, Jake Lacey.
One of my favorite people of all time.
Oh, we did Being in the Ricardos together.
I know. He talked so much shit about you, by the way. He's crazy.
Why am I hearing about this now?
I know. We should have emailed you. But
he's so kind to me.
He's the greatest.
No, he's actually a really great dude.
And he's a great actor. And so I had a hookup scene, but like it wasn't that nerve-wracking. Ari Grainer and I were, and it was kind of like fun, and we were smoking a joint. It was like it wasn't like intense. But the hardest one for me, like Jake was having sex, and I walk in on them, and I'm supposed to like have this entire conversation with him, and they're naked, and his ass is like in my face line when I first show up, like he's doggy style. I'm standing there like, this is so hard to do, because I'm supposed to like really be in this character. Like I'm upset at him, I'm really mad, and also I'm upset that like he's hooking up and he's getting more success in the business than I am, and I have all this stuff. But the whole time I'm staring at like my buddy naked. It's hard to not laugh.
And you're like, I mean, I've envisioned it, but like,
it was just hard to be like. If it, by the way, it would have been better if it was strangers or actors that I had no relationship with.
Yes, that's oof.
It's hard when it's someone you know. Yeah, it was tough.
That is awkward.
No, but when Mama needs a new couch, Mama needs a new couch.
And it was really tricky because it was. I'm also like in my 50s, like I don't. But the scene made a lot of sense, and we had talks about what I was comfortable with, what I wasn't comfortable with. But I've never had to do something like that. I mean, Buster Bluth, come on.
Buster Bluth, come on.
But
you do it again now, though. Another sex scene.
It depends.
Really? You think you might turn it down?
No, I mean, that's
if it came up again.
Well, that again, if I go to my wife, she'll say how much. That's all shit. Like how much are they offering?
I like your wife already. She's smart.
Because I'll be like, well, this could be really destructive to my psyche. She's like, we can pay for therapy.
dude.
She figured it out.
She got a house.
She's like, there's an answer to everything, my friend. Yeah. Just get naked and go do the thing. All right, I don't want to keep you longer. I know you're on a big run, but I appreciate you very, very
love it.
much.
This is so fun.
I really appreciate you coming. You can have this, by the way, because I'm not going to drink it. But are you going to be even? Is this going to be worth it to have? Yeah, you should keep it. You
I'll
should
take it.
with you.
I'm trying to think if I can pack it. I guess. Oh, I can. Yeah, because it's not. I don't carry it. I can pack it.
Yeah, pack
I
it.
don't have that in my bar.
Take this.
Like I have a bar.
You
In
have
my little area. Yeah.
Do you have a bar? We should show the picture of his bar. We'll spin up a picture of us in the same bar. No, but I appreciate you being here, and I want everybody will go. Everybody will see Toy Story 5.
It's such a. I'm
sure
I say
they
this.
know they
It's
will.
going. I've not seen it yet, but I'm sure it's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing.
And the other 37 projects that you're working on. If I do get down to the south, hopefully I'll knock on your door.
Dude,
and say
I would
hi.
love it. I would love for you to come as well.
Coney, okay, well, he will be. He's with me. If I'm there, he's there. He doesn't go without me. He's not allowed to go anywhere without me. Isn't that right?
But it's
Right.
also really, when people come in town, I'm sure when you go to town, it's like, you're from place to place. It's nice to have that kind of connection.
I will be bothering
If you're in Birmingham, please let me know.
I'll bother you, I promise.
Yeah.
We end the show the same way. You look into that camera and you say one word or one phrase to end the episode. It used to be imparting words of wisdom. Sometimes people like to say one singular word, but either way, keep in mind, this will end up in the Smithsonian. We've already submitted.
Oh,
this will
really?
end up for the rest of time. We're going to
One of
collectively
many
put
of my
together.
things, am I right? Yes, I got plenty of stuff.
Emmy? I wanted one of them. No?
What if I was like, junk?
I would love it. We actually did a bit with
Yeah, with
Lamorne Morris.
Oh,
we
such
did
a nice guy.
Happy Gilmore.
He was
2.
at that Netflix thing, too.
Yeah, we did Happy Gilmore 2, and one of the jokes, which never made it into the cut, was we panned out, and Lamorne was there the whole time.
One of the villain was on Bad Friends, and then he was promoted, and then Andrew and Bob were watching the golf climax,
Yeah.
and at one point it cut over revealing that while they were watching the game, Lamorne was on.
He was just on the show, and he was holding the M, and he was like, are we going to
get started anything?
Get started or something? And we're like,
that's great.
we're shushing him away with his Emmy. He's like, okay. I mean, I brought it. It was very fun.
Very funny.
So
We
great.
did. We actually melted it down because we needed the gold.
Is it gold?
Money's tight.
Okay.
It's not well.
Good to know.
Yours are chocolate. I just want to let you know. They told me it was chocolate. Yeah, feel it back. That camera. One word or one phrase. Impart
Okay.
a word of wisdom. It could be funny. It could be sweet. It could be whatever you want.
I have 2.
No, please.
Can I say 2?
You can.
They're both kind of heavy.
Okay.
Not heavy,
No, I like it.
but I do. Well, the first one is when I booked Arrested Development. It was my dream, and it scared me because it didn't satisfy me the way I thought it was going to satisfy me. And it was. I woke up to the lesson that if you're not practicing contentment where you are, you're not going to be content when you get what you want. And then I always love to tell people it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay.
In here, we pour whisk.
You were that creature in the ginger beard.
Sturdy and ginger.
Like that. The ginger gene is a curse.
Gingers are beautiful. You owe me $5 for the whiskey and $75 for the horse.
Gingers? Oh, hell no.
This whiskey is excellent.
Ginger. I like gingers.
It's easy for my fat mental slip down the list. So, we're politely interrupting this show to remind you that winter immunizations, including flu, are available now. Let's get them sorted at bookmyvaccine.nz or ask your healthcare provider.
There are days when you nail parenting, but this isn't one of them. There's not even a single cherry tomato for their lunchbox. And is that a tumbleweed? Luckily, a DoorDash hero emerges. That's me. Dash! Savior of the lunchbox! Now the kids have a tasty lunch that you can totally share on the ground. With DoorDash, get groceries delivered straight to your door in a dash.
It's Monday, July the 23rd, 2018. In the coastal town of Mati, located some 30 kilometers east of Athens on the Greek mainland, the temperature has been rising steadily throughout the morning. By noon, it's pushing 40 degrees centigrade, over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. The streets are quiet. The atmosphere is soporific as people take refuge from the heat inside their shuttered houses or sip coffee in the shade of local tavernas. Nestled against a picture-perfect backdrop of rolling scrub hills, a beautiful villa gleams in the glaring sunshine. the fierce light casting dappled patterns through the smooth, clear waters of the property's private pool. The air echoes with the gentle hum of cicadas, and a warm, pine-scented wind blows through the open door from the terrace into the house. Inside is a haven of cool, calm darkness, the only sound coming from the rhythmic, ceaseless whir of the air conditioning. Upstairs, in the master bedroom, a newly married couple in their 40s lie sleeping beneath a thin cotton sheet, having been driven inside by the ferocious midday sun. This is Zoe Holohan and her husband of just 4 days, Brian O'Callaghan Westrop. It's the beginning of their honeymoon, and they're making the most of the chance to relax and unwind in their stunning surroundings. After an hour or two, Brian stirs and wakes, then rolls out of bed and walks down the stairs, not waking his sleeping wife. Zoe remains lost in peaceful slumber. Until, seconds later, she hears Brian screaming her name.
His voice had such a tone of urgency that obviously I woke up with a shock.
Dazed, Zoe scrambles out of bed and heads towards Brian. Whatever is happening, it's clearly an emergency. She runs to the top of the stairs.
The weirdest things go through your mind in these scenarios, because I remember being at the top of the stairs and it was a steep wooden staircase, and I remember thinking, Jesus Christ, Zoe, don't fall down the stairs. Because if you fall down the stairs, that would be the worst thing if you broke a limb on your honeymoon. Little did I know it was going to get a hell of a lot worse than that.
Clinging gingerly to the handrail, her bare feet braced against the wooden treads, Zoe makes her way down the precarious staircase as fast as possible, unsure of what awaits her. When she reaches the bottom, she finds Brian almost in a trance, staring in horror at the view out of the open terrace door. Zoe follows his gaze. And what she sees is the stuff of nightmares.
In that moment, it was like just Brian snapped out of it and ran to shut the door and told me to do the same with the back door. I ran to the back door and closed that too. So we realized we had minutes, if not seconds, to get the hell out of there.
Ever wondered what you would do when disaster strikes? If your life depended on your next decision, could you make the right choice? Welcome to Real Survival Stories. These are the astonishing tales of ordinary people thrown into extraordinary situations. People suddenly forced to fight for their lives. In this episode, we meet Zoe Hola. In July 2018, she and her husband Brian traveled to Greece to enjoy a relaxing honeymoon, having tied the knot just days before. But what should be one of the happiest times of their lives soon morphs into a horror story right before their eyes, when Zoe and Brian wake from a siesta and find themselves trapped in one of the worst natural disasters in the country's recent history.
You know, we were on honeymoon. We were happy we could finally get to unwind. And then, of course, we woke up the following day on July 23rd. It all went terribly, terribly wrong from there.
Racing against time, the couple face a desperate scramble to escape before it's too late. But despite their best efforts, it seems that fate is set against them as they encounter hurdle after hurdle, and safety continues to elude them. How much bad luck can two people endure before tragedy finally strikes?
It's, in my opinion, a miracle actually anybody got out of there alive. What happened next was absolutely catastrophic.
I'm John Hopkins. From the Noiser Podcast Network, this is Real Survival Stories. It's Sunday, July the 22nd, 2018. The sun hangs like a blazing disk of gold over the eastern coast of Attica, a peninsula in the heartland of Greece. Here, dusty hills dotted with tall pines and gnarled olive trees give way to the tranquil waters of the Aegean. This is an area steeped in history and culture, and has become a prime destination for holidaymakers, its proximity to Athens making it ideal for international tourists. In the bustling seaside town of Manti, just up the coast from the port of Rufina, a hire car trundles along narrow, labyrinthine streets. Inside, newly married couple Zoe Holohan and Brian O'Callaghan Westrop scan their surroundings, squinting into the dazzling sunlight as they search for the villa they have booked for their honeymoon. Eventually the building comes into sight. Brian and Zoe drive through the tall electric gate that guards its driveway, then park up outside the property. Here, they are greeted by the villa's owner, who gives them a tour and supplies helpful information for their stay. In addition to providing restaurant recommendations and directions to local attractions, she also warns them that the area can be prone to power cuts and gives instructions on how to manually open the gate if the electricity fails. The villa is everything Zoe and Brian could have hoped for, and tops off the magical wedding they enjoyed 3 days earlier back home in Ireland.
So we had our family and we had our closest friends there. We went to a beautiful place called Clonabrini House. It was an outdoor wedding in a rose garden. And it was extraordinarily special. But it's hard to talk about because that happened on July the 19th, 2018, and 4 days later our lives were obliterated.
Now in their 40s, and having both been married before, Zoe and Brian are open about how lucky they are to have found each other. They met via a dating website 4 years earlier, when Zoe was on the verge of giving up after a string of disappointing matches. But with Brian, things were different.
So Brian had a very interesting bio, and he seemed like an intelligent guy. He lived quite close to where I lived, so we agreed to meet one afternoon for coffee. I guess you could say what began as a coffee date turned into lunch, turned into sitting there until the cafe closed at around 6 or 7 in the afternoon evening. And we were getting on so well that we just extended the date. We toddled off to a local bar and decided to have a bite to eat and a few drinks there. And immediately we just hit it off. I kind of thought to myself, right, finally that doozy date run has ended.
The instant spark between Zoe and Brian soon blossomed into a much deeper connection.
Beyond the physical attraction, there were aspects to his personality that immediately I found attractive. He was wise, he was deeply respectful, gentlemanly, he had a bit of a spirit of adventure about him. He liked to travel. But if I were going to describe him now, as I got to know him, I think the essence of Brian was he was a truly kind man. He spent an awful lot of his spare time working in charities. There's a service in Ireland called Blood Bikes. Brian loved his motorbikes. And Blood Bikes basically is a free of charge service where certain bikers travel all across the country with emergency medical supplies. Sometimes it could be a heart transplant, a lung, it could be bloods. And he would do this just because he wanted to help people.
A couple of months after their first date, Brian and Zoe moved in together. Just over 2 years later, they were engaged. For Zoe, who was working in a high-powered media job, this new and happy chapter came after a... things weren't always easy.
I worked in advertising and sales and newspapers. Really, media was my world when I was younger. I worked in a very high-pressured industry where you had to be an Oscar-winning actress or actor and never show weakness and never show pressure or burnout and continually put that smiling face forward. I'm sure not the only person that felt like they had to do that in the corporate world, but in the quiet times, I was seeking out therapy, and I really badly needed help to cope with some of those high-pressured times. Back then, I told nobody, not even my closest friends, that I was struggling. When I was with Brian, certainly we could talk about those things, but that was a later stage when I pretty much got, if you want to put it this way, my mental health act together.
Zoe's struggles have been hard. However, they've also created a steely core of resilience and determination within her.
In my 20s, 30s, and 40s, I would have had spells of depression, anxiety, and I definitely suffered from panic attacks in my 40s. So I guess you might say that working through those, either in the guise of therapy or just sheer pedaling through them, but probably helped create some inner strength in me. I would also say, much to the irritation of a lot of my friends, I'm extraordinarily stubborn by nature, but I deem that an advantage because I don't give up very easily.
After the villa owner leaves, Brian and Zoe settle into their accommodation and spend some time exploring their surroundings and stocking up on supplies. As the sun dips below the horizon and the soft shadows of evening set in, the beauty of the area washes over them. The following morning marks the first real day of their honeymoon. They enjoy a long lie, then eat brunch in the garden before relaxing by the pool as the temperature slowly starts to rise.
It was extraordinarily hot. We were looking at our phones, we were checking the temperature, and I believe it had got up to 40 by noon, 40 degrees. It was exceptionally hot. We'd jump in the pool to cool off, and then no sooner that you're out again, you'd be exhausted by the heat.
Between refreshing dips in the clear blue water, the couple discuss their recent wedding and make plans for the rest of their 2-week honeymoon. They also take time to phone Brian's mother. It's her birthday today. She's in the middle of a celebratory lunch, so the conversation is short but affectionate.
After that, we did the nerdy thing of changing our Facebook status to married. We were like a pair of teenagers on a countdown, 3, 2, 1. We giggled about it, and then the heat just got too much. This would have been just around lunchtime. The heat got too much.
Forced inside by the fierce midday sun, Zoe and Brian head into the refreshing, air-conditioned darkness of the villa for a siesta, leaving the terrace doors open to try and get some airflow through the house. They stretch out lazily on their bed, the soft, cool sheets a welcome relief to their sun-warmed skin. It isn't long before both are fast asleep. An hour or two passes, and outside, the temperature continues to climb. Sometime in the early afternoon, Brian stirs and blinks his eyes open. Beside him, Zoe is still asleep. Brian pads downstairs, not disturbing her. But just a few seconds later, his voice jolts her from her dreams.
I woke up in the bed with my bikini bottom still on and Brian screaming from downstairs, telling me to get up. And his voice had such a tone of urgency that obviously I woke up with a shock.
Zoe lurches out of bed and down the steep wooden staircase, taking care not to fall. At the bottom of the stairs, a wave of heat engulfs her, far more savage than anything one would expect from the afternoon sun. Still fuzzy, she blinks, and her eyes lock on Brian, who is standing transfixed, staring out of the open terrace door. Confused, Zoe follows his gaze, and then her heart drops.
Brian was just standing there, like he was in a trance, and the whole side of the garden, the whole area that we'd just come in from, the pool, was just filled with flames.
Zoe and Brian stare in disbelief at the fire raging outside the villa, in the very place where just hours before they were relaxing, reveling in the glorious Greek sunshine on the first real day of their honeymoon. Now the greenery of the garden is gone, subsumed by an orange inferno. The sight is surreal. Waves of heat roll into the air-conditioned villa through the open terrace door, and already a miasma of smoke is starting to fill the house. Suddenly, Brian snaps out of his trance-like state and lunges to close one set of doors, telling Zoe to do the same at the back of the house. She runs, bare feet slapping against the tiles, pulse drumming in her ears. When she reaches the back door, the true severity of their situation is immediately clear.
The whole back garden and the hills behind, of which we could have a view from the back of the house, were totally on fire. So we realized now we had minutes.
Before we get into this episode on what is commonly called Havana syndrome, I want to take a moment to properly introduce my guest. AJ was a CIA operative of the highest caliber, whose career goes unmatched. He is a very humble man who is extremely accomplished, but you would never know that by talking to him. A true, quiet professional. I can tell you what others who know him have said, and I'm going to let you hear it from their own words, because they are in a position to know who AJ is and how he's served our country. I received 2 letters ahead of this interview. The first came from somebody within the intelligence community who knows AJ very well. This person asked to remain anonymous for obvious reasons. The second letter came from the chairman of the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, Congressman Rick Crawford of Arkansas, dated February 13th, 2026. I'm going to read both of these to you because I think it sets the stage for everything we're about to talk about. First, the anonymous letter from a senior intelligence professional. Sean Ryan, I hope this finds you well. I'm writing as I have become aware of an interview you are undertaking this coming Tuesday. I will call this man AJ for purposes of this note. While I'm sure you checked bona fides before getting to this point, I'm passing this note in support. While I remain anonymous for purposes of this message, I will pass this through an old friend, which I hope will provide clarity on the truthfulness of this message. Feel free to use any portion of this to inform you or your audience on your show. Sean Ryan, I'm writing to provide you some insight into AJ. I know him well enough to be concerned he may play down either just how elite he was and remains, or fail to explain just how badly he was injured in the AHI he experienced. It is important for you to know. While I didn't have the opportunity to work directly with him in the field, in the decades I've worked in this business, intelligence, I can only name a couple of people I have known at the caliber of AJ. Your audience needs to understand the man sitting in front of you is literally the pinnacle. This is the best of the best, the highest level of operative the U.S. develops and deploys globally. I am very familiar with his work and performance, and while the full extent of his work will likely never be known, that is okay. This is what he signed up for. I met AJ after he was hit in a dramatic AHI, highly consistent with other specific AHI reports I'm aware of. While I will not present sensitive or classified information here, I am personally very confident in my understanding of what happened to him. Some of our mutual colleagues who have worked with him before have described to me a man who had mastered himself in ways most only dream. From ultramarathons to linguistic and operational skills to academic and intellectual performance, AJ exceeds any standard. I wish I could tell America of his exploits, but let it be known his experience was beyond what the majority of such personnel only dream of doing in their careers. Now let me describe the man I met. Months after his AHI, I was introduced to a man shuffling towards me while holding the arm of a friend for balance. He looked like a 90-year-old man. When we spoke, after 15 minutes, his eyes began to appear out of sync, and his stutter began to present. with long pauses between thoughts. After he departed me, a friend of his described to me when he first returned home. He described AJ unable to sit in a room with lights, curled up in a corner of a dark room, having trouble standing at all. AJ's friend looked at me with anger as he questioned where his friend had gone, and more importantly, why our employers were not helping him. The injuries were devastating and remain so to him. Some may see him and some others like him and think they don't look so bad, but that hides two important points. His starting point was 200%. So even if he recovers to 30 or 40 average of people, he knows the difference. It's like the best SEAL in the teams after an injury being told they're fine, because their physical capability is around 30% on a spectrum of average Americans. Second, the man you see is only able to do what he is doing today based on pure tenacity to recover, doggedly fighting to get better as much as he can and not be a victim. I never thought the day would come when he would speak publicly, but now that he has, I pray his appearance speaks to the others out there like him. He was one of the worst, and he did not accept where he was and has continued to fight. I wish you both the best in your interview, and I hope to watch it. I cannot say enough due to security, but please take away 3 things. The man in front of you is the real thing. This is not an internet sensation inflating their past. I never thought anyone would ever know him, but this is the best of the best we have. AHIs are real. He was injured severely. The system failed him, as demonstrated by the fact he is sitting on your show. No offense, but those like him are never seen or become known, and we all must do better. The IC, particularly the senior leaders who know exactly who he is, what he has done for this country, should take the fact that he has gone public as a clear message. The handling of these events and the impacted people must be corrected immediately. Signed, Anonymous. And lastly, the letter from Representative Rick Crawford. I write with deep gratitude and admiration and recognition of AJ, who dedicated over 20 years of distinguished service to our country. It has been my distinct privilege getting to know AJ throughout the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence Investigation into the U.S. intelligence community's handling of anomalous health incidents, also known as Havana Syndrome. Throughout this time, I have been continually inspired by AJ's quiet strength and unwavering devotion to his country. Having endured profound hardship, AJ carries the resilience of a survivor, not with bitterness or pride, but with humility and grace. He is the real deal. In our continuing investigation, we have found that the intelligence community assessment on AHI is profoundly flawed and fallacious. It was developed in a manner entirely inconsistent with analytic integrity standards, failing the brave men and women who have served our country across the globe like AJ. In addition to not appropriately informing policymakers on Capitol Hill and the executive branch, this fundamentally unsound assessment had disastrous impacts on the overall U.S. government response and impacted the medical care made available for some of our nation's finest, like AJ. While the majority of AJ's service to our nation cannot be revealed publicly, the American people should know that he is one of our best. Very few can match AJ's career and service to us, which prematurely ended after experiencing an AHI. Despite what many think, our nation remains incredibly thankful to those like AJ who walk in the shadows, not seeking fame, but eschewing it to serve. We must correct the government's failure and take care of our patriots. I have the honor of knowing AJ and know that his patriotism is rooted in gratitude, responsibility, and a deep belief in contributing to something greater than ourselves. I continue to pray for the steady healing of AJ and all patriots impacted by AHI. Sincerely, Rick Crawford, Chairman, House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence. Please take the time to listen to this episode in full and send it to your representatives in D.C. You got any questions?
No, don't know what I don't know. Well, just
All right.
Looking forward to it.
Me too. I want to cover all this, and I want to try to. I've literally never fucking said this, but I want to try to get through it as fast as possible, so that you're comfortable. But I did everything too.
Yeah, I'll try and get through it, hit the salient points before I turn into a puddle. I should be good for the 3-hour mark, and then after that, it's going to be tough. But, this is important. Let's get through it.
Perfect.
So, as long as we take some breaks, and apologize in advance for having to do that, but yeah.
Nah, no, I usually take one every hour anyway.
Oh, that's perfect. That should be good.
AJ, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. It's a humbling honor to be here, especially to sit in this chair where so many of your guests have sat before. Just great heroes. So I'll do my best to honor their sacrifice on your show. Thank you.
Well, thank you for saying that. It's an honor to have you. And so we got connected through mutual friend Brad Geary, former dev group guy that has been on the show a couple of times. And he had brought you up a couple of times in regards to Havana syndrome. And I had covered that early on in the podcast. And I never really knew what to think of it. And since, as the years have gone by, it's gained more and more traction. And then when the Venezuela thing went down, and what they call it, the discombobulator or something, and I've been interviewing a lot of tech guys, and really have a fascination with this company, Epirus, which is doing directed EMP weapons. I realized that this definitely isn't bullshit. And so we got in touch with you after Brad connected, and I'm just, like I said, I'm honored to have you here. So. And to be honest with you, I told you about this upstairs, but I want the audience to know this. So you're a former intel guy at CIA, and we had 2 different people send letters. One came, I don't want to mention anybody's name, but it came from somebody very high up in one of the previous administrations, and said that you were very humble, and basically the letter explained you are the modern Jason Bourne, and what you're saying is not bullshit, and that you would dismiss it. But the letter came in anonymously through that person that was in the admin, and then the one that we got from Congress. So, which I will have read those out loud before we start this interview. So, thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you.
But everybody starts off with an introduction here. AJ, a United States Naval Academy graduate with a bachelor's in physics, former Marine officer who led Marines for 5 years, former CIA officer and 2-time chief of station, with experience across war zones, denied areas, Australia environments, traditional and headquarters assignments. Served as chief of station in Southeast Asia, where you experienced what is referred to publicly as an anomalous health incident, AHI, or as Havana syndrome. You described these events not as a syndrome, but as a deliberate attack involving direct energy weapons causing biological effects. You're a husband, and most importantly, you're a Christian. And so, before we move on, I just want to get through a couple of things here. I want to talk about some historical context of directed energy weapons. This isn't new stuff. And if you want to interject here, please feel free to do so. But in 1953 to 1979, Moscow signal microwaves aimed at the U.S. Embassy for 25 years. An ambassador died. Kissinger said, in quotes, "keep it quiet." Hopkins study said microwaves are safe. Then we go Soviet-Russian research. Frey effect in the 1960s. Russian labs testing microwaves on humans. In 1976, a DIA report on stopping frog hearts. Do you know about this?
So, before we get going, Sean, I forget, because of the agency affiliation and everything, I did get a lot cleared through them before, and they requested I read the statement before we get going, just to kind of dissociate me with the government on that. All statement of fact, opinion, or analysis expressed are those of the author and do not reflect the official positions or views of the U.S. government. Nothing in the contents should be construed as asserting or implying U.S. government authentication of information or endorsement of the author's views. So kind of like you, Sean, I hadn't really heard about any of this either. In fact, I don't know when you did the original interview, but I probably didn't see it, probably didn't know anything about it. You hear these rumors about, obviously, stuff that goes on regarding the historical aspects. The thing, that was always something that we heard about, that great seal that was given to the ambassador. It was a passive listening device, brilliantly made, that the Russians had given us as a gift, where they radiated the Great Seal in the ambassador's office in this Vaso house in Moscow, and were able to listen to conversations. That went on for 7 years until the Brits discovered it. Just by accident, they were looking through all the radio waves, type mechanisms, and they heard the conversation in the ambassador's office over the radio waves. So, we heard about that as, kind of lore, agency lore, the Great Seal. And there might have been some things you heard about the Moscow signal, but that was it. You didn't really hear anything about it. And, especially going through the career, you just don't have time to focus on those things. You're busy doing other things. It's just kind of buried in the bowels of the building. You never get to it or hear about it again. It really wasn't until relatively recently, in preparation for our conversation, that I went back and looked at some of the stuff regarding the Moscow signal and some of the things that went on with that, and it's frighteningly haunting with how much it mirrors what we've recently seen, especially when we talk about Havana and what happened in 2016. So the Moscow signal itself, like you said, ran for 25 years or maybe longer. It was radiating the embassy in Moscow with microwave radiation. Unbeknownst to the staff, I don't think the embassy staff was made aware of it until 1976. But during that time, there were two projects that the government did very secretly. Project Bazaar and Project Pandora. Pandora, I think, was the overarching one, in which the goal was to study the biological effects that pulsed microwaves had on humans or biological entities, and that microwave energy was non-thermal. So that's a very important aspect of this, that it's non-thermal. How do you actually get that aspect of it, where it's non-thermal without heating tissue? And is it possible to still cause damage without having that thermal aspect of the microwave? So that's what they were studying. In fact, they actually lied to the embassy personnel and drew their blood, saying that they were studying, the virus spread, and they took it back to analyze to see what was happening in the blood of the individuals that were being radiated in Moscow. Project Bazaar looked at animal research. They did that on monkeys, where they radiated the monkeys with microwaves. And what I found, and all of this is available on the National Security Archive, it's all open source to look at, was that in fact they did find that radiating the monkeys with non-thermal microwave energy caused them to lose time, space, ability to function, complete tasks at a certain level. Now they said, well, the level is lower than that at the embassy, so, it's not right, it's fine. It's still lower than our standards. It was 100 times greater than the Russian standards for safety, microwave safety. So there's a lot of contention about whether or not it actually had the effect on the primate research. So what they really wanted to do was to test it on humans. And they proposed testing on humans without their consent or knowledge. Thankfully, that didn't actually go through, and that was ended. But kind of what had brought it to a head in '76, after 3 or 4 presidential administrations had told the Russians to stop this. What kind of brought it to the head was kind of the hero of the story, Ambassador Stossel, who was experiencing symptoms. In fact, he was reportedly having bled out of his eyes after being in his office and being exposed to this radiation. He went back to the administration, especially to Kissinger at the time, and said that enough's enough. We're getting to the point where this situation has become not tenable anymore. We have to tell the staff, the embassy personnel, what's going on about this risk and this threat. Otherwise, we have to keep a secret. I think Kissinger reluctantly relented. His argument was that he didn't want people to know about it because that might make the Russians upset, that we were belittling them, that we were calling them out, that we were embarrassing them publicly, and that might lead to irritants, especially when they were working on, I think, the Angola crisis at the time and the SALT Treaty. So that was why it was basically buried. And after Ambassador Stossel, I think, called over to his counterpart and demanded it stopped, only then I think did it eventually go down to a lower level. And I'm not sure when eventually it did stop. Ambassador Stossel passed away in 1986 from leukemia, as did 2 prior ambassadors, also passing away from leukemia.
2 prior ambassadors?
That's correct. And a number of officers that served there had rare blood disorders. I think James Schumacher, he came forward and wrote some nice pieces regarding how it was like deja vu with Havana syndrome and what had happened to them back then. He developed a very, very rare blood cancer. It was basically a death sentence. But eventually his body recovered and he fought it off and got over it, which is a miracle in and of itself. That he was, that he did that. But it just goes to show that a lot of things happened, and the concentration of officers that experienced these health issues was far greater than the average population. A lot of folks, I think, had issues with blood counts and white blood cell counts and things like that, hence the leukemia and those issues as well. So that kind of started, I think, that trend. Then we see, like you had mentioned, in the 70s, there was a university professor from Washington, I think Dr. Lin, who was studying the Frey effect. The Frey effect is what happens. This actually was experienced by our soldiers in World War II, who were very close to the radars. They would hear a clicking and a buzzing in their head, and they couldn't figure it out. Well, it turns out that the radars were inducing a sound inside of the head, an acoustic sound, that clicking and the buzzing. So Dr. Lin was studying this in the University of Washington. In fact, he even would experiment on himself to try and experience this. I saw a comment of his where he would try not to turn it up so high so he wouldn't damage his brain. But he was working on this and then found out the Russians were working on this. So he went over to Moscow and saw what they were doing. And the write-up, which is, once again, I think in the National Security Archives, noted that he saw their laboratories, which were very well equipped, very elaborate. But the experiments were a little more crude, and that they would submerge participants up to their necks in salt water and hit them with microwave energy to see what neurological effects it would have on them. And they were very curious what Dr. Lin had to say about that as well. And you mentioned the DIA reports. I think those were in the mid-70s, around 76, that noted that they were aware the Russians were experimenting, utilizing microwave energy. to stop the hearts of frogs and amphibians by aiming it specifically at their throats, and it would stop their hearts. They also noted in that it was the Russians were very well equipped and moving forwards to weaponizing this in order to disrupt military personnel and diplomats. It was also in that as well. And in the 80s, I believe they also noted that the Russians actually might be farther ahead than we are in this technology. In the 90s, I believe, once again, according to open source, you saw our research and work on several different projects, weapon systems that were termed hello, goodbye, and good night, basically named for the effects that they would have on the intended target: disruption, disabling, or lethal. It's unknown how effective those were. It's just left at that. I think it'd be very interesting to talk to some of the folks that were involved in those projects. So that was the 90s.
You know any of the folks?
I don't know any of them. In the 90s, I think in the 2000s, we started to see kind of the emergence of the active denial system, the LRAD, that you can kind of see in the news, that utilizes that thermal property of microwave to cause the discomfort and get people off of the scene, kind of as a crowd dispersal. Very, very much in the open source these days, but that focuses on that thermal aspect, not so much the non-thermal. And then I believe we saw also our efforts with Project, Medusa, that was also looking to do the voice-to-skull kind of technology, where you basically use the Frey effect to input and implant thoughts in people's heads, or sounds in people's heads, voices. That's what they were working on. I believe that was discontinued in 2008 out of concerns that it was causing brain damage and permanent brain damage. During this time as well, the Russians, I believe, were probably still continuing their efforts. I believe in 2003, they had a scientist attend the kind of second annual European Symposium on Non-Lethal Weapons, in which he presented research that he was using microwaves to affect the autonomic nervous system, which is extremely, I think, important, and we'll discuss that later on. And then in 2008, there was open source that they had passed this technology along to the Chinese, sold it to the Chinese as well, who were, obviously going to work on this as well.
Which is interesting when you mentioned your friend got zapped.
All of the, obviously they're going to,
which was
way after
this.
Yep.
What we have here was Russians sold it to China in 2008.
So then fast forward to kind of the more public time with Havana in 2016, where numerous diplomats from China, or from Canada and ours, experienced what is kind of termed now as the anomalous health incidents, or Havana syndrome. And that really kind of brought it, I think, to the public spotlight at that point in time. Still, I mean, I hadn't really heard about that. Even, being part of the organization, it wasn't something you heard. You might have heard that something was going on, but you didn't pay attention to it. So you just kind of drove on with that. And then later, we see that the Russians and the Chinese publicly acknowledge that they have been working on these capabilities, and that they intended to incorporate them into their military doctrine. The Chinese, I believe, call it the neurostrike weapons, which encompasses all different types of aspects that target the mind of an individual, the cognitive aspects, whether that is something like the directed energy, whether that's something like PSYOPs, maybe TikTok, those types of things that influence the mind of the adversary, or impact it and disrupt their cognitive ability. That's kind of what they package into the neurostrike weapons. The Russians I believe they call it the weapons with new physical properties, in which they incorporate the directed energy weapons and other asymmetrical capabilities. But they've come out and said that they're working on it. They've developed it and they're incorporating it into their doctrine. So I believe that was probably between 22, 24 time frame. And then obviously after some of the other things came out, we have National Security Advisor Patrushev from Russia saying that they had identified and neutralized hundreds of foreign spies. And that was in, I believe, an internal magazine for their intelligence services. I haven't seen the complete context of it. I'd love to see the article in its entirety to make sure that's kind of what he was referring to, but still it's a very interesting statement for them to make, even if it wasn't intended to go public. So that kind of, I think, brings us up relatively up to speed on some of the historical context. And obviously, whenever there's a new capability, people are going to look at how can you make it to either help people or harm people. So I think we're just looking at this aspect of that.
My days don't slow down. Between work, the gym, and time with the kids, I need eyewear that can keep up with everything I've got going on. And that's why I trust Roka. I've tried plenty of shades before, but these stand out. They're built for performance without sacrificing style. I've put them through it all. On the range, out on the water, and off-road. They don't quit. They're lightweight, stay locked in place, and are tough enough to handle whatever I throw at them. And the best part? They don't just perform, they look incredible. Sleek, modern, and designed for people who expect more from their eyewear. No fluff, no gimmicks, just premium frames that deliver every single time. And that's why Roka is what I grab when I'm heading out the door. Born in Austin, Texas, they're American designed with zero shortcuts. Razor sharp optics, no glare, and all-day comfort that doesn't quit. And if you need prescription lenses, they've got you covered with both sunglasses and eyeglasses. One brand, all your bases. Roka isn't just eyewear, it's confidence you can wear every day. They're the real deal. Ready to upgrade your eyewear? Check them out for yourself at Roka.com and use code SRS for 20% off site-wide at checkout. That's ROKA.com. A lot more stuff has come out since the last time I interviewed about this, that's for sure. As of today, the recording, Polymarket says there's only a 5% chance that the U.S. confirms Havana syndrome-causing device by March 31st. What is the hesitation here? I mean, why do you think that they haven't come out and said that this is an actual thing?
I think there's probably many reasons kind of for that, maybe creating a little bit of a perfect storm. And maybe we can even look back a little bit at what happened with the Moscow signal and ask, well, why did they cover that up as well? I think that, are we dealing with a whole of U.S. government initiative on this? Probably not. I think we're seeing more of a group of individuals that think they might be doing the right thing, whether that be foreign policy-wise by not upsetting our adversaries, whether that be protecting the institutions, whatever their logic is or reasoning behind that.
How would that protect the institution?
You're right. I think it actually does the exact opposite. I think it ruins the institution. It taints it. It causes mistrust, distrust internally and externally. And I really can't speak to what other motivations they might have on that, but I do believe it's probably a group of individuals that have transcended over the different administrations. And we kind of talk about the way that went later. that are telling a story, and not the story, but a story, in order to
Series stop.
protect their equity.
Oh shit. Fucking missed it. 형님 알타 안 쓰십니까? 알타 안 쓰십니까?